your equity. With just a single forged document, they can file at the county. So don't wait until it's too late. Find out if you are already a victim today. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com. Use the promo code BILL to get a free title history report, plus a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. For more news and honest analysis, please go to BillO'Reilly.com. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a mostly cloudy day, highs into the upper 30s. The big news is the first alert weather day as we head off into Saturday. During the morning hours, we'll start to see the possibility of some light snow. It'll be scattered across the metro and even higher totals expected towards the northeast. You want to see accumulations on the ground potentially. Then we look off into late Saturday night, Sunday morning temperatures back towards the 0 degree mark in some areas. Going to be dangerously cold across the area. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch.
We know it's early. Mike's not totally awake yet either. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on NewsTalkSTL.
We've said it before, confusion is a tactic in politics these days, and there's no exception to that in Missouri right now, depending on who you ask, because I've seen multiple mainstream media reporting that, well, now that the signatures are turned in, the new maps that were approved by the legislature and the governor, those are now on hold. Well, we talked to Secretary of State Denny Hoskins on Thursday's show, who says, yeah, not so fast. That's not the way that he sees the law. Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. Mike Ferguson here. By the way, I'm going to have this conversation that we had with Denny in just a second. And then kind of an exciting addition to our food drive is going to be given to you right after this discussion. But here's Missouri Secretary of State Denny Hoskins saying, yeah, hold your horses here a little bit, lefties. That doesn't mean that you've changed anything, at least not yet, but things could change. Here's what he had to say. You've got some, including a lot in the media, who are saying, well, now that the signatures are filed, the new maps are on hold, and as far as things go for the next election, the old maps of 2024, that's what's in effect. My understanding is you don't see it that way. What are the actual 2026 congressional maps as we speak right now, knowing that something could change?
Yes. The new maps, the Missouri First map that the legislature passed, as well as Governor Kehoe proposed, went into effect at 12:01 a.m. today, Thursday, December 11th. So right now we are under the new maps. I believe that the process is very clear. We're going to take our time. We're going to follow my oath to the Missouri Constitution as well as Missouri voters, and we will follow the law. You know, we've been working hand in hand with the Attorney General's office, General Hanaway, who's doing a great job. And my opinion, we receive opinions from the Attorney General's office as well as my internal counsel. And we're going to take their opinion and run with it because they believe and they've fact-checked that, yes, the new map is in effect today. And where a lot of this confusion happened is we had the community organizer that submitted the signatures went and told all the press that, yes, the map is frozen because we turned in the signatures. According to Missouri state law, I have 2 weeks to upload the signatures into the database, which started this past Tuesday when they submitted those signatures. Those we're currently in the process of doing that. That's according to Missouri state law. After 2 weeks, then we will grant access to the local election authorities as well as the county clerks, and they will begin the process of verification of those signatures. They can take all the way, according to Missouri state law, statute 116.130, they have up until July 28th to verify those signatures. Once they verify those signatures, then they turn in their reports to my office for certification by the Secretary of State's office.
Is there any, given that July is right before the primary elections for Congress and other offices here, and because the filing obviously is well before that, is there any urgency to try to speed that verification process up, or is that just that's what the law says, that's what the dates will be?
That's what the law says. We're going to follow the law, and the county clerks and local election authorities have until that date to verify the signatures. Now, I guess they could. I know that they're going to be very meticulous in going through and looking at each signature, making sure that someone didn't sign it twice and they're counted twice, making sure that that person is a registered voter here in the state of Missouri, that they're not deceased, making sure that, with our two biggest cities bordering other states, that somebody from Illinois didn't come over and sign the signature list in Missouri, or somebody from Kansas came over and signed the petition. So I know they're going to be very meticulous, and I know that they take their job very seriously. I mean, this is a huge task for them to take on, to go through and look at over 300,000 signatures. So the new maps, like I said, went in effect today. It will be up to the local election authorities to figure out how long it's going to take them to verify those signatures and send it to me for certification.
What's the status of the 92,000 signatures that are in question that were collected either before the new maps were even signed into law and before the petition was approved for circulation? They're arguing, well, we just got an early start. They should count. Obviously, they were getting petitions for something that wasn't approved yet at the time. But what's the status of those, at least from the legal perspective?
Yeah, that's a great question. We are separating those signatures that were collected before October 14th. I believe that those signatures should not count toward the referendum number of signatures that they have. And so we are setting those aside. We will keep them under lock and key, and they will not be counted unless we have a court order that would say something different.
Okay, so we've obviously got two possible scenarios with the signatures. One is that they don't have enough and nothing changes, and we just move on with the maps we've got. If they do have that 107,000 plus valid signatures, what happens then at that point?
Yeah, what happens then at that point is the local election authorities and county clerks will submit their verification of signatures to me, and then I will go through the certification process of certifying those signatures. If those signatures are valid and we determine that, yes, it is constitutional to have a referendum on a congressional district map, which I would argue that it may not be constitutional because the dates don't line up. The dates don't line up as far as July 28th, giving the local election authorities, according to Missouri state law, until July 28th when you have a primary election in August. So we will look at the constitutionality once those signatures are turned in. If it is ruled constitutional, then the referendum, and they have enough signatures and everything checks out, then that referendum could be on the ballot in November of 2026.
Okay, but this would be that would obviously be after the primaries in the newly drawn districts. So it sounds like we could be headed for a lot of confusion and chaos.
Yes. Again, I would say that I don't believe our founding fathers in the Missouri Constitution believe that a referendum should be used on a congressional redistricting map. This is uncharted territory that we've never really been into before. We are definitely trailblazing here. But again, we're going to follow my office and we're going to follow Missouri state law. I know it's really easy for a community organizer to go out and have a big press conference and say different things, but our facts and our actions are based in Missouri state law, and we're going to follow the Missouri Constitution.
Now, are the laws involving initial petition reform or the election laws themselves at play here? Because you mentioned uncharted territory. Do we have law that addresses this, or is this new?
Yes, I believe that the process is very clear. Now, like I said, this is a little bit of uncharted territory because the initial petition process as well as the referendum process, some of those laws overlap and some of them are a little bit different. And so I believe over 100 years ago, they did do a referendum on a congressional district map, but things have changed a lot over the last 100 years, that's for sure. Okay,
so there were a lot of questions about the petitioners around the state. What are the rules for, if there are any, for who can gather petitions for a referendum in the state of Missouri, or do we need some reform to address this?
Most certainly. I think we do need some reform. There are a few laws as far as when and where petitioners can gather signatures, that we talked about that October 14th date. if you can gather signatures before that October 14th date, before the governor had signed the bill into law, then theoretically petitioners can start gathering signatures for some bill that had been pre-filed by the legislature for this 2026 session. So there has to be some rules and regulations on that, and that's why I've said that those signatures aren't valid and don't count. We've been looking at other states as far as what their initial petition process is. In other states, sometimes they ask for a photo ID when you sign that petition, and so that petitioner would ask for a photo ID. In some other states, they have said, hey, you have to be a resident of Missouri for at least 30 days before you can start gathering signatures. So there's a lot of different ideas that we're working with some of my former colleagues in the Missouri State House and Missouri State Senate in order to make sure that this process is very clear, very transparent. But there's some things that we could do that I think would definitely help the process here in the state of Missouri.
Okay, so on the issue right before us right now, so it sounds like basically we're probably not going to have any news for the next few weeks, if not months, while those petitions are just verified. So this is the long, detailed part of the process at this point.
Yes, most certainly. This is a long, detailed process. I know that the groups, the liberal groups, and many of them being funded by out-of-state special interest groups, they've thrown everything against the wall as far as lawsuits go, and so I'm sure that we've not heard the last from them. I'm sure that they will be filing a lot more lawsuits. It seems like their strategy has just been we're going to throw a lot of stuff on the wall and hope something sticks. But like I said, my office, working hand in hand with General Hanaway, and we are going to follow Missouri state law and not be deterred.
Okay, here's the exciting addition to our food drive, which, by the way, is just about 9 days left in that. STL Windows and Doors has decided to get involved in our food drive to help the efforts of Feed My People, the ministry right here in St. Louis. So you can drop off your non-perishable food donations at their Earth City location, or here's the thing, and we'll put this up on our website as well. You can text your name and address to this number, 314-277-5952. 314-277-5952. They will send somebody out to pick up your donation if you can't get to one of the donation bins. So thank you so much to STL Windows and Doors and STL Window Cleaners for joining the News Talk STL St. Louis County GOP Central Committee Food Drive to benefit the ministry of Feed My People. All the details are available at newstalkstl.com.
The strength of America, our values, our way of life hasn't just been won on the battlefield. It's won every day in our communities when we come together, extending hands of compassion, service, and hope to those who need it most. For over 100 years, the American Legion has been strengthening communities across our nation by providing life-saving help and support to our veterans and neighbors during times like we're facing today. It's what the Legion's all about. From blood drives to distributing food, from responding to emergencies and protecting the most vulnerable among us. Our mission is making America's communities stronger.
We are one family, and therefore we care.
We are the American Legion, veterans strengthening America. To learn how you can help, visit legion.org.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros and Exteriors, your all-in-one service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. Christine and I discovered Gutter Pros and Exteriors when we bought our home and inherited a gutter problem. And they've also repaired siding damage on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros team are also the best for repairing other exterior damage, including fascia, soffit, and all siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros and Exteriors can help your home or business right now at gutterpros.com.
Newstalk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airwaves for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 2 times every weekend on Newstalk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you are ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with this free call. 800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. That's 800-524-1641.
This is the sound of confidence soaring.
Our mission is to educate, inspire, and honor.
This is the sound of honor roaring.
We should never, never forget those that gave their lives.
This is the sound of a generation rising above.
337 for Bravo Fox Papa. We want to be involved in the education of young people so that they can take our aircraft and the stories that our pilots tell and realize their own dreams.
The Commemorative Air Force honors the heroes of yesterday while educating and inspiring the heroes of tomorrow.
Your future and how you live your life is dependent on how you think.
You can learn more at soundsofhistory.org right now.
Obviously happenings in Washington, D.C. yesterday with, you got the whole healthcare thing going on. And normally we wait till Monday to talk to him, but he's going to be here actually at 6:35. Well, not here, but, on the show with us. Congressman Bob Onder is going to be with us at 6:35. All right. Happy Friday. Happy Flashback Friday. Looking forward to hearing what you put into the queue and the request here. Hey guys, what's up? All right. So
really? What are you doing here?
I'm doing a
I walked away for just a few minutes to brew the kafifi for the kafifi dance, and I come back and you've just taken over the show altogether.
It's called Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to be here today.
Okay, it's my day off.
I know.
Again.
I walked in thinking I was going to be in charge, and here you are. You're texting my group. I knew I should have locked the door tighter. I was going to bar that sucker up, but then I realized Susie has to come in a little early today, so we'll leave it on live for her.
Okay, I even got up earlier today so I could be in early. Why did I even bother?
She could have slept in, Mike.
I need my beauty rest.
I guess I could have, and there's no hope for me with beauty rest. just that. Okay, fine. I'll get out of the way here.
You need to be gone.
But Congressman Onder is going to be back on the show. We're talking to him on Monday too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so a lot going on. DC. I mean, there's a lot of questions. Everything from the Venezuelan oil thing to the healthcare stuff, and the everything. So there's a lot of ground to cover.
I see what this is, Jerome.
What is it?
He doesn't trust us to talk to a good congressman without his supervision.
I trust.
Think somehow we're going to screw it up.
I trust. I do.
And of all the ways that I've seen you sneak in here when it's supposed to be your day off, I don't even know how you got in this time.
I know. Wait, we might need to get like a video camera, surveillance camera to check that out.
Are you just waiting for me not to pay attention so you can get into the studio?
Why is Tim here?
Well,
Tim just walked in.
Because you're not supposed to be.
Oh, that's okay. All right. Okay.
Darn it, Mike.
No, I'll leave. All right.
You need to go.
I'm just saying.
If you're going to take a day off, take a day off.
Yeah, I'm not good at that. I'm just saying. Okay. But before I go, okay, so Bob's coming up here. Obviously, so much going on Red State, which, you give a preview of what's happening on there as well. The food drive. Did you hear about this addition to it? I just mentioned a couple minutes ago. Yeah, this is great with STL. It's fantastic because they'll come pick up the food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can't get to one of the bins for whatever reason, you can just text, and then you're going to be able to have somebody pick it up. So this is great. What we really appreciate here is that STL windows and doors and STL window cleaners, like I just said, they're joining the food drive. So
That's awesome.
They're putting a bin at their Earth City location. But if you text them, and I gave out this number a few minutes ago, but let me do it again just to make it easy. 314-277-5952. They will stop by. Just tell them your name and where you are. They will stop by and pick up your donation for you.
Now, just to be clear, though, they're not going to send a Waymo car to come pick it up. It'll actually be somebody to go, okay.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of Instacart.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Reverse Instacart. I like that.
I love it. And for such a good cause.
It is. So that's exciting because, there's a lot of people kind of talking about this, around town. I mean, a lot of great charitable Christmas holiday stuff going on. And I love being a part of it. It's kind of one of the fun things of being in media is you kind of get to be the mouthpiece and the megaphone for these sorts of things.
True.
And so when people see a good thing, they jump on board. So we appreciate them doing that.
And I knew we were going to have a really good response because we have such a fantastic listenership, but the amount of food that was actually recorded to us and relayed back to us that we collected actually exceeded my expectations. So if we can do that well right now, we still have a couple weeks left in this.
Yeah,
now we have a whole nother
about 9 days.
Yeah, we have a whole nother front now to actually make it easier on everybody. So I'm sure we can really almost double our numbers probably.
So information is up on the website, just NewsTalkSTL.com for that. And so then I'm not going to even be here for the Flashback Friday stuff.
You're going to miss out on all the fun.
I'm going to miss, yeah.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to make you suffer the entire next week with everything you're trying to avoid on these Fridays. But we did have a lot of really good suggestions this week. I had to pull out the hat again. So for people that don't know, when I get a lot of requests that I just enjoy, it goes into a hat, you shake it up, and you pull it out. But don't worry, we're going to expose Mike to some Christmas music next week.
It's too early.
No, it's not.
It's too early.
No, it's not. It's not at all too early.
Now we got you to dress up for Halloween. Are we going to see Grinch Mike come out?
I've got like an old fashioned, like the pin button that you'd put on your shirts or your jacket.
Sure.
And it says Bah Humbug. I haven't, it's probably somewhere in some box somewhere. I should try to find that.
You should.
Just for fun.
You should. Truth in advertising.
That's right.
I was Santa last year and were you an elf or were you?
I think I just had an ugly Christmas sweater on. Yeah.
Well, we could do that. I mean, we already have the ugly down between me and Mike.
That's true. That's so true. Yeah. Exactly.
I've got cute and ugly Christmas sweaters. It's hard to choose, which one to go with.
Well, we got the beauty and we got the beast.
That's precisely. that's the story of my life. I am telling you. All right. Okay. So Tim Jones is going to be in sidekicking with Susie here.
Yeah.
All right.
So that means it's time for you to get out, Mike. Get out.
Mike, go.
I'm leaving. All right.
Leave.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
We do not want you here. I mean, we love you, but we don't want you here.
It's in your capable hands now.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is us getting Mike Ferguson to actually enjoy his day off again. Coming up. Yes, we're coming up next. Susie, you're going to take the wheel here.
I am. I'm going to be in charge.
Yes. So stay tuned. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic right and duty. The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion.
Hey, how you doing? Santa Vic here.
And Santa's head Vic head here.
And you can win some great prizes with News Talk STL's St. Louis Conservative Christmas.
You forgot the ho, ho, ho. You forgot the ho, ho, ho.
Oh!
No, ho, ho.
Oh!
Log on to NewsTalkSTL.com for your chance to win great prizes from Ami's Pizzeria and Restaurant, Small Cakes Cupcakery and Creamery, and Gulf Shores Restaurant, Food Truck and Catering. NewsTalkSTL.com.
Oh!
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. That's old news. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, you now have tons of options. Save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect. We scan your location and offer you the best TV and internet options. And we always have specials and promotions. So when you call, ask about that. Take 5 minutes of your time. Make this free call now and learn how to save money and get better internet and TV for your home anywhere in the U.S. Make this simple and free call now.
800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. That's 800-257-1632.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Jim Talent, former U.S. Senator, did Pete Hegseth commit a war crime, in your opinion?
No. My only concern is that we're not getting enough drug votes. It's the first effective thing I can remember we've done to strike at these cartels, not only to take out particular shipments of drugs, but to deter others. And I'm not going to cry crocodile tears for any of them.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. Opening a My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal record and interactive tools tailored for you. You can see if you are eligible to receive benefits, view spousal benefit estimates, and compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates when you want to start receiving benefits. Already receiving benefits? Use your account to change your address, set up or change direct deposit, get a proof of income letter, and more. In most states, you can also request a replacement Social Security card. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Number one for live and local
conservative talk.
I've been a registered Democrat for 28 years. I'm really glad you're talking about this. You gotta love these idiots out here. They think we're all stupid, I guess.
news, analysis, opinion.
Totally agree on that. I disagree with you.
It's over.
Very upset. Thanks for taking my call. Thank you for taking my call. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Wanted to ask you really quick. Is there room on the bandwagon for me?
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. When it comes to battling Venezuelan-backed drug cartels, President Trump is not backing down. He says he's prepared to take the fight from the sea to a new front, land.
They've treated us badly, and I guess now we're not treating them so good.
If you look at the drug traffic by sea is down 92%. And nobody can figure out who the 8% is because I have no idea. Anybody getting involved in that right now is not doing well. And we'll start that on land too. It's going to be starting on land pretty soon.
The oil tanker seized by the U.S. military is bound for an American port along with its crew as Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro cries piracy. Some Republican state senators in Indiana vote against their own party's best interests in next year's midterm elections, while the Democrats stand united.
Indiana Republicans have blocked President Trump's redistricting push in a rare break with the White House.
19 ayes, 31 noes. This bill has been defeated.
Indiana Republican senators voted down a new congressional map created to give the GOP an advantage in the upcoming 2026 election. 21 senators from the Republican supermajority in the chamber's 10 Democrats voted against the map. The map would have split the city of Indianapolis into 4 districts. I'm Haya Panjwani.
The flood-battered state of Washington is under a state of emergency. 5 days of torrential rains in the Pacific Northwest have unleashed devastating flooding. It's destroyed infrastructure, washed away homes, and forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate. Half dozen people taken to hospitals following a powerful natural gas explosion in the San Francisco Bay Area suburb of Hayward. At least one home has been leveled. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures are up 65 points, while the NASDAQ futures are down 168. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Dennis Prager here for AmFed Coin and Bullion. I've always been a strong believer in precious metals investment, and I've always been fascinated with rare coin collecting. But owning the wrong coins that only make dealers a lot of money can be catastrophic for your investment portfolio. AmFed Coin and Bullion specializes in taking people out of non-performing coin portfolios and turning them into gold, silver, or platinum bullion. They tailor a portfolio based on your goals and not what they want to sell you. You'll never experience scare tactics, misleading hype, or high-pressure sales from owner Nick Grovich and his very knowledgeable staff. They will evaluate your portfolio, show you how your coins have performed, and take the time to educate you on the ugly industry practices so that you can make an informed decision. Smart people can make very bad investments when they're under pressure and lack the facts. Call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a mostly cloudy day, highs into the upper 30s. The big news is the first alert weather day as we head off into Saturday. During the morning hours, we'll start to see the possibility of some light snow. It'll be scattered across the metro and even higher totals expected towards the northeast. You want to see accumulations on the ground potentially. Then we look off into late Saturday night, Sunday morning temperatures back towards the 0 degree mark in some areas. Going to be dangerously cold across the area. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com. JC's Wayback Machine.
This week, it's more stuff from my exclusive Christmas library, including a hilarious interview with Harry Connick Jr.
Number one, if you could not sing ever again when I'm talking. Okay, wow. I thought we established that.
Wow. Plus, great tunes from the 90s, 80s, and 70s. Nobody in St. Louis radio is doing what we are doing, and it's all brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9. News Talk STL.
Yo, this is Vic. Vic for Vets is proudly honoring our veterans. Every Wednesday at 11:05, you'll hear about that day's honoree and their incredible service to our country.
Hi, it's Ken. You want to nominate a veteran? Send their name, service information, and story to me, Ken, at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Brought to you by Alamo Military Collectibles, Monocle's Pizza, and Gemini Wealth Group.
Together, let's celebrate the heroes in our community, Vic for Vets, where honor meets gratitude.
Number one for live and local conservative talk.
All of these collaborators should be shaved, pajamaed, and spit on. People that may be a little off balance are hearing these, quote, leaders.
101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Boo! Relax, nerd.
Susie Moore.
And that would be a good time to respond with some applause.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, St. Louis.
That's a banana republic without the banana.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
This is your cousin.
All right, are you up and at 'em? It's Friday. It's Flashback Friday here on the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show. Susie Moore filling in for Mike because we finally did kick him out the door.
We got him out of here.
I mean, that took a lot of work.
He's a strong guy. It's
I
all the nutrition
know.
stuff he eats.
You'd think he would actually relish taking a day off, but apparently it's very hard to get him out of here. But we do have him out here, so I'm running the show today. Actually, Jerome's running the show. I'm talking to you today, and I've got Tim Jones here with me. So we are going to take you through this Flashback Friday. Tim, good morning.
Good morning this morning. How's everybody doing today?
I'm trying to stay awake.
I feel like we were all just here.
we were all
because
just
we
here.
were. Yes.
What
Yeah,
is
it's good to
that?
be back in less than 10 hours.
Yeah, I will say that. So we had our station Christmas party last night. And as I was driving over yesterday evening, I was like, oh, going to be doing the exact same drive in less than 12 hours. It's great.
It was a fantastic and festive affair. And
It
my
was.
goodness, did it exemplify how much we have grown as a station
Yes.
over the last year alone.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
studio
you know what?
couldn't even hold us all.
No.
We took
were
over
spilling
the
out
whole
over
building.
the building.
Yes.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah, it was impressive seeing how wild and unhinged you guys get.
You give me some of that weird pink punch, and you never know what's going to happen
It's
next.
true. There was a special cocktail for that.
Mhm.
But we're back. We're here. We're ready to go. And there is plenty to talk about today. We've got stuff going on locally. We got stuff going on nationally. And I guess it's time to do a news dump.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do a news dump.
Okay.
Successful dump.
Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news. The morning news dump.
All right. Locally, this is important. We were talking about this earlier in the week. That shooting over in Granite City, the guy that shot the a police officer, there was a hearing for him yesterday in Madison County about whether or not he would be detained during the pretrial aspect of his case. And apparently this guy has a long rap sheet.
As most of them seem to these days, unfortunately.
Yeah. But
so does that mean he's out on his own recognizance?
Well, so here's the thing.
He's got a 50-page rap sheet.
Because
so
of
it's an
the
extra bonus.
Safety Act in Illinois, it wasn't clear that he was going to be detained. So that hearing was held yesterday, and it looks like he is because pretrial release was denied for DJ Marshall is the name of the accused shooter. So it sounds like he is not going anywhere. He will be detained prior to his trial, which is good because this is somebody who has a lengthy record and who's accused of shooting a police officer.
Hope springs eternal in the once mighty land of Lincoln. The failed People's Republic of Illinois.
Yeah.
So for once, they actually held someone in custody who should be held in custody.
Yes. When we were talking about this earlier, I was like, well, it's Madison County. So if there's any wiggle room at all, I suspect the judges in Madison County are more likely to detain somebody than in some of the other jurisdictions. But thankfully, he is being detained, and that's good. He will get his day in court.
Yeah, back in the day, I did felony arraignments in Nassau County, New York, and this would not have even been a question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would have been no bail, you know? I mean, and then the judge would have been like, okay, no problem.
Why does it seem like over and over again we hear these stories? Now, thankfully, it sounds like the police officer is going to recover. But we hear these stories of these heinous crimes. And then as soon as it's never somebody who doesn't have a record. It's always somebody who has a record a mile long. And there's been multiple opportunities, multiple interactions with law enforcement, multiple opportunities to incarcerate the person, and they're out.
Especially if you're an illegal alien, then you get a bonus star.
Well, this is true.
It's really ridiculous. And I know it's not occurring everywhere, Susie, but it seems like in certain parts of this wonderful and beautiful vast land that certain threads of civilizational authority that we once took for granted are fraying at the edges.
Oh, yeah.
And those two areas are the two most important, I think, to the foundations of our society. And that would be our electoral system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is counting votes become more complicated in this AI technological data center age than it used to be back in the day? Number one.
Makes you wonder.
And number two, why have we decided that there are that certain people need to be treated like, animal plush toys who commit heinous murders instead of back in the day where we would, throw them in the clink and throw away the key.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we've gone to opposite land, up is
Yes.
down, black is white, and everything the reason it doesn't make sense is because it shouldn't make sense because everything's turned upside down. You mentioned illegal aliens. I'm sure you probably saw this. You probably talked about it on your show yesterday. St. Kilmar, the Maryland dad.
The Maryland man.
Maryland
He's
dad.
back again. We cannot get rid of this guy. And you know what I heard this morning, Susie? And I don't know if you've read about this or written about this yet on Red State, but apparently the biggest problem we discovered now is there was actually no final deportation order for this clown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
somebody didn't cross the T's and dot the I's.
I haven't been able to delve into that aspect of it because there was a withholding order, which is why this whole thing started, because he went through the immigration process. He was ordered basically, you don't get to stay, but there was this stipulation that if he was going to be deported, it couldn't be back to his home country of El Salvador because of his purported fear of retaliation there from other gang members. So that was all out there. And that's why when they shipped him back to El Salvador in March, this whole thing started. That was an issue because of the one place they weren't supposed to take him to.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
It sounds like, yes, that this is one of those 2-prong situations, and they completed the first prong, but not the second.
Yep.
And we had, this joke in the law that nothing's final until it's final, you know? And so even though there was an adjudication of his illegal status, the reason there's no final deportation order is because they never said where he should be sent to.
Well, and they've been trying to.
That's kind of the problem, right?
So ever since they brought him back, remember, they did finally bring him back to charge him in Tennessee for human smuggling. That case is still pending, but the criminal court judge said, no, I'm not going to hold him pre-trial. So once they released him from that, I said, okay, well, we'll detain him again. Now this judge in Maryland, who's the one who's been his champion all along, Paul Mazinas, is saying, well, no, you can't hold him. And while they've been holding him, they've been saying, okay, we're going to deport him to Uganda. No. You can't deport him to Uganda because of this. Okay, we're going to deport him here. No. So it's like this little game of whack-a-mole.
And he's probably got his other good buddy, U.S. Senator Chris Holland, still advocating for him as well.
Well, he's
behind
waiting.
the scenes.
I bet he greeted him when he left ICE detention yesterday
with a margarita.
Right? Boy, that joker.
It's unbelievable because you wonder, and then so we're talking about this one case, right? We're a land of 350 million people as far as we know, plus another 20 million that maybe shouldn't be here. So is this the only case that's experiencing these kind of procedural glitches and hiccups? Or are there 100,000 Albrego Garcias out there that we're not hearing about and reporting on because it's not as interesting, titillating, or as exciting?
I suspect there's more than just this one. I know that there are because there are other cases pending that we're tracking. They're just not getting the media airtime that Kilmar is.
The brokenness of the immigration system on full display. And you know what? If the Democrats don't like this, like if they're so all verklempt about everything that's happening to poor Maryland man, why haven't they filed any bills to change the laws to say that everybody who wants to come here should just get to come and stay here and feed off of our social safety net and destroy the United States of America? Because that's really what they want to have happen. Let's be honest about it.
Seems to be.
Yeah, I was going to ask you as well. So I have no law, background at all. But is this what they're?
God
teaching?
bless you. Probably a more sane human being.
Let's not go that far. But is this what they're teaching, like in law school now? Is if somebody breaks the law 10, 15 times, just keep giving them slaps on the wrist and letting them go back out there. And if you're here illegally, then like there was that one case that we had where the judge themselves was like trying to hide the illegal when I showed up to deport them. And
she's being prosecuted for that.
Okay, so this is not like just the common like law 101. This is how you behave once you become a judge.
No, and I it's been a little while since I was in law school. Longer than I care to admit.
Me too.
But I've been way longer than you have. But so I can't really attest to what specifically they're teaching in law school, but I will say generally, they don't teach. There's not a lot of like practical, like this is what you do in this situation, application type education in law school. What you are learning more is like the theory behind the law and how the procedural part of the system works and how different like constitutional issues come into play. You're learning like the 30,000 foot view. You're not learning the hands-on what it's like to be a prosecutor or what it's like to argue a case in front of a court. Those are things that you get once you get towards the end of law school. You get the more practical classes like mediation, like how to conduct a mediation between parties, how to argue a case, those sorts of things. But so you come out of law school without much practical experience is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, unless you do moot court, mock trial.
Right. Those are all
like
kind of extracurricular aspects that you can learn. So you're not being taught, okay, this is how immigration is handled. This is how we do with criminal cases. It's not nearly as hands-on as people think.
But it might be during these mock trials where they're saying, okay, he's only done 5 violent offenses. Let's go ahead and put him back on the street. Let's pass the Safety Act. So whenever somebody does something horrendous, they can just get back on the street and not have to pay bail.
Yeah, I mean, Jerome, we're in the land of make-believe these days in a lot of different philosophical and legal corners. And when you have one political party advocating to replace law enforcement with social workers, Jerome, I don't know that I would recognize law school these days. Yeah. And so I don't know what has infiltrated at that level. But Susie's right. You really don't get the hands-on. And that's one of the complaints about law schools, especially certain Ivy League law schools, where they teach nothing but esoteric theory, and you really don't get the nuts and bolts. I went to St. John's University School of Law, which is known for more of a practical knowledge base. Yeah, a lot of famous litigators came out of St. John's, a lot of famous jurists and judges. So we did have some electives we could take that were more nuts and bolts, on hand experience the case. And then, Jerome, what you do is you do internships. So I did an internship in the prosecutor's office in Queens. And then my first job was I was a prosecutor in Nassau County, which is the first county on Long Island.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
See, my real internship from law school was with a public interest group that basically was trying to advocate for very liberal causes, let's say.
That's okay.
So,
you got better.
I got better. I've since recovered.
You drank the Rudolph punch and you got better.
I got better. It's true. It's true.
We can all be better.
Hey, yeah. Well, we all could.
Especially most of the people in Congress.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're going to talk about them too. But how soon are we going to find out whether St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery is going to hang on to his job? We'll discuss that and other live and local stories coming up next.
You have a soul so dark, it is no more. And all the ones depart, no destination.
It's Friday.
Hey folks, the Clayton Sleep Institute and my friend Dr. Ojal back supporting free common sense conservative radio. ClaytonSleep.com, treating the full range of adult and pediatric sleep disorders from sleep apnea to insomnia, restless leg syndrome, periodic limb movement, and narcolepsy. What an awesome place. New comfy setting for the sleep lab. ClaytonSleep.com, 314-645-5855. Better sleep, better life.
This December 13th, join wreaths across America at Belle Reve Gardens Cemetery as we remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach our children the value of freedom. Help us lay remembrance wreaths on the graves of our fallen heroes. Sponsor a wreath, volunteer, or bring your family to this meaningful tribute to our veterans, because every hero deserves to be remembered. Learn more and sponsor a wreath. Visit NewsTalkSTL.com.
Jamie Ullman here with the great Eric Swanson of Newstedter's Fine Jewelers, Doherty Ferry and Big Bend. Tell me about Wow Diamonds.
Wow Diamonds. We call them that because when people come in and look at the diamonds, everyone says, wow. We feature those in natural diamonds, the mine diamonds. They're perfectly cut, polished, and proportioned. Not all diamonds come out of the cutting process the same, and ours are perfect. That's why they're called Wow Diamonds.
Newstedter's Fine Jewelers right there at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend. WowDiamonds.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the beats?
It's Flashback Friday.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you.
Giddy up.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the Morning here on News Talk STL.
Welcome back to Mike Ferguson in the Morning. Susie Moore here, Tim Jones here, producer Jerome here. Right before we took a little break there, I was talking about St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery. Now, we're waiting on the decision from the judge in the Quo Warrento, I can never say it, case. to see if he's going to hang on to his job. Judge Stephen Omer is presiding over that case. And the reason I'm bringing it up again is because today is the deadline for the parties to file with their proposed findings of fact with the court. In other words, there's something they're supposed to each side's supposed to file with the court saying, this is what we think the evidence in the trial showed and what you think your findings should be. And then he can take those and kind of pick and choose what he thinks, what he finds the facts to be to put together his final order. My suspicion is that he's probably got the order pretty well written and he's waiting to kind of plug in the last bits of it. So we could see a decision from him today or probably sometime next week.
Yeah. And as I was saying, the gift of Alfred Montgomery just keeps on giving.
Loaded dice.
What a saga this has been. When did this begin? This began this year, began last year.
I think it was this year.
Was it all this year? It all blew up?
Yeah, it got revealed earlier this year, a few months ago. And so it's surprising how rapidly it started to snowball after we found out what was going on. But I do think a lot of the stuff was going on or happening before. Well, no, because he was elected during the last election, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't elected. Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah, he's just huge.
Was he just elected in 2024? And this has all happened this year?
I think so.
Yeah. Talk about the fiery phoenix, right?
So.
I mean,
yeah. And his criminal trial isn't, I don't even know if there's been a date set for it yet. I haven't seen that. That's in federal court. But so that won't happen until after the first of the year. But this is just to see whether he's going to hang on to his job, which, he is in jail right now. And there's certainly some strong arguments that he should not be the one holding that office.
Yep. And is this one of those things where we say the people get the representation they deserve? I mean, do the people of the city of St. Louis need to wake up and start maybe paying a little better attention? Or were there no signs or signals that this guy was going to go this much off the rails?
I don't know.
So I would say Tashara Jones, definitely an example of you get what you vote for. But with him, because of the fact that he did appear, because he's got like a background in the military or something, doesn't he? I thought.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
That somebody that they should be more noble.
Looked good on paper.
Yeah, look good on paper. And he looks like a stand-up dude. If you just look at him, he does look like.
And read the resume, looks fine. Yeah, looks good.
And then next thing you know, he's arresting other law enforcement people and refusing to take people to the hospital. He's just refusing to do the job, and he's doing the job he shouldn't be doing. So. I don't know if you could really anticipate that because I don't think a lot of people even know what the sheriffs are responsible for.
Yeah, sometimes the errors are known and expected, and you do get what you vote for. Other times, there's a lot of surprises and skeletons in the closet.
That's true.
That don't come out until after.
We've seen that on all levels of government.
Yeah, there was a governor we had maybe not too long ago that we talked about. Yeah.
Well,
for a while.
I do got to say, though, I found out about the Elvis judge, and I'm really disappointed that he was not the one. That would have been the perfect conclusion, the summary of everything, if they brought in Sheriff Montgomery and it was Elvis judge.
When I kept hearing about the Elvis judge, and I didn't realize I know that judge very well.
Oh.
I tried,
St. Charles County judge, right?
Yes. I tried. It wasn't my first trial. It was his first civil jury trial. I was one of the lawyers in. And it ended up being, and it was an associate circuit case. It wasn't that big a case, but it was a property dispute, and it had complex instructions. Juries get a set of instructions before they deliberate on a case, and you have to make sure all the pieces fit together. We were literally crawling around on the floor of his chambers, piecing together the jury instructions in this case. And he was really nice. He was very easy to work with. He was very fair. He wasn't sporting an Elvis outfit at the time. No.
Is he in trouble for any of these antics at all, or is this just kind of a sideshow?
I don't really know. I thought I saw them like that. Did he step down?
Yeah, he got reprimanded for something to do with disrespecting the court or the not being professional while you're representing the law or something like that. Which I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think he should be allowed to keep doing it, and I want him to be the one presiding over.
So you want the judicial all-star game of Merry Misfits. So you'd like Alfred Montgomery appearing in front of the Elvis judge.
I want loaded dice versus Elvis judge. That would be the perfect.
That would be interesting.
That would be the perfect conclusion.
It sounds like a cage match.
Yeah.
Because if you ever try to make a documentary on that at that point, it's hard enough to believe what loaded dice was doing to begin with, but how would you explain that scenario to somebody without it sounding way completely? Trying to explain an Elvis judge to anybody, it sounds like you're making that up.
So, Susie, long story short, we're going to receive the quo warranto adjudication at some point in the very near future, right?
Could be as early as today, and maybe next week.
Just so folks understand, that's the civil matter that will determine whether or not he can factually remain in office with his current title.
Right. And assuming that he is removed, which I think there's a decent chance he will be, then comes the who gets appointed in his place. There's an interim guy there now who's actually doing the day-to-day since
Doing the job
since Alfred can't. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting to see when we'll certainly be tracking that and report on that when we get a ruling.
And meanwhile, there are federal felony charges pending against one Sheriff Alfred Martinez.
There are, and as I said, I don't think they have set the trial date for that yet, although they probably will be soon. Because I think that's one of the ones I'm actually tracking, so I should get a notification when they set the trial for that. But it'll be after the first of the year.
Gotcha.
So, lots to keep track of there. We talked about this a little bit earlier. The fellow over in Granite City that's accused of shooting the police officer, thankfully, has been detained pre-trial. So that's a little bit of relief. I don't know if you guys saw this, and we maybe talked about this the other day. Missouri has now been approved to restrict SNAP purchases on junk food.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. I don't know if a law. I thought there was a law that a bill. I thought there was a bill they were considering this past legislative session, but I don't remember that passing. Do you know if this was done somehow by executive order, or did I miss something?
This is what the article says.
Okay.
This is from. I think this is from.
I was trying to remember how this happened. I guess
from
is my
Fox News.
question.
Yeah. So it says people in Missouri may soon be unable to use SNAP benefits to buy candy, soda, and other junk foods. On Wednesday, the U.S. Department of Agriculture formally approved Missouri's request to restrict the use of food stamps for purchasing. This article didn't print out right. For these types of items, basically. The request also calls to allow for purchase of hot, ready-to-eat rotisserie chicken through SNAP benefits. So they're trying to get that so you can get
interesting carve
healthy
out
food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
This is, and I don't think Missouri is the only state involved, but since it does affect us,
certain convenience stores have upped their game. I'm just tell you.
Oh yeah,
I'm kind of an aficionado.
Yes,
that's what I hit on the way in. I kind of my gas station roulette.
Yeah, I don't want to give free advertising, but there are some that you can get pretty much a gourmet meal from.
You really can. Yeah, I mean, we can start going on the list, but none of them advertise here yet. So I've actually talked to one of them.
Oh,
I know somebody who's I'll tell you guys off air, but
on that.
we're not going to give them free advertising. But yeah, you can basically get a meal for fine dining meal for
you
$4.
can get gas station sushi, but I don't recommend it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I would try it.
You would try gas station sushi?
I would try most things.
I mean, if you go to the grocery store and they've got the sushi bar there, that's one thing. But gas station sushi,
They're pretty fancy and nice.
That's true.
You go there for a date.
You really could. I mean, no. And if you just as a fair warning, if you cannot identify good or bad sushi by sight, do not try it at a gas station.
Right.
Try it at a restaurant first.
That looks a little greener.
Yeah,
on the
you better
edges.
know what you're dealing with when but like little taquitos and things like that.
Absolutely. And some you can get brisket sandwiches
Mhm.
and like fully loaded burritos.
Now, presumably you can use SNAP benefits to purchase those items at a convenience store. I don't think it's limited to grocery stores.
I would think not. So basically, the way you read that article, it sounded like it was a request was made, which leads me to believe that we did not pass a law on this. We did not pass a bill into a law on this, but it was rather perhaps through an executive branch request to the federal government from
it
Governor
sounds like
Kehoe's administration.
Whatever agency in Missouri kind of oversees that.
DHSS, I think,
I think
Department of
that's
Health
it.
and Department of Health and Social Services, perhaps.
Probably made this request and kind of followed suit. As I said, there's like 20 some odd states that are saying, yeah, like let's make sure that whatever is being funded by the government is certainly it's like healthy options as opposed to just crap.
I wonder if the dysfunctional Democrats agree or do not agree with this, because you would think this would be a lot. You look. Do they want to make people unhealthy so we can put more people on the Medicaid rolls and then have the taxpayers? Yeah, but they probably do. But we shouldn't want to do that, right?
No.
So wouldn't that? So what you just described? Yeah, you're right. The liberals probably this doesn't follow their logic, so because they're illogical. But you would want people to eat healthier so they don't end up on the Medicaid rolls prematurely or with a bunch of pre-existing pre-diabetic conditions.
Absolutely, it all kind of goes hand in hand with the whole MAHA agenda, right?
Which they hate as well.
I know.
Why would you want to make America healthy again? Look, I understand certain parts of RFK, just like certain parts of Trump. The personalities, perhaps more than anything, do not sit well with people. But if you can just put your TDS aside for a moment and focus on what they're advocating for, why would we not want to take the good parts of what RFK is saying? If you don't like what he's saying on certain things, then just ignore that. But he is saying some good things on other things, like not eating a bunch of crap and dyes and stuff in our food. I am shocked and chagrined to learn about some of the stuff that's in our food. I've started avoiding some things.
I have completely rethought how I approach food. And it wasn't that I was ignorant. I was ignorant of it because I didn't take the time to educate myself about the importance of it. And just the fact that we're actually talking about it is a good thing.
Indeed.
Yeah, most chronic illnesses, it comes down to like poor diet and not giving yourself enough exercise. And then I'm thinking, why in our health classes and in our education system are we not learning more about nutrition and healthy eating? It just sounds like common sense to me.
Yeah, and in today's world, it's not that hard. I mean, yes, I know the junk is typically the first thing you slam into when you enter any store, no matter what it might be. But if you search just for a half second longer, you can find the healthier snacks and stuff. Indeed.
Outer perimeter.
Reminds me of that famous line from Parks and Rec where I think it was Rob Lowe who was talking about his healthy lifestyle and eating raisins. And he was like, nature's candy.
It's true. It's true. Hey, they're still busy up at the swamp. The House has taken a number of notable votes this week from the NDAA to yet another effort to impeach President Donald Trump. We'll talk to Congressman Bob Onder about that and more at 6:35.
Giddy up, let's go. Let's look at the show. We're riding in a wonderland of snow. Giddy up, it's grand. Just holding your hand. We're gliding along with a song of a wintry fairy.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a mostly cloudy day, highs into the upper 30s. The big news is the first alert weather day as we head off into Saturday. During the morning hours, we'll start to see the possibility of some light snow. It'll be scattered across the metro and even higher totals expected towards the northeast. You want to see accumulations on the ground potentially. Then we look off into late Saturday night, Sunday morning temperatures back towards the 0 degree mark in some areas. Going to be dangerously cold across the area. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch.
Steph's Pizza. You know the name. They're famous for their St. Louis-style pizza. But don't forget their party platters for the holidays. Steph's sandwiches, pasta, and pizza are always big hits at any get-together. And the party platters make it easy. 3 great locations, St. Peter's on Juggerman, in St. Charles on Zumbill, and their newest location in Lake St. Louis at 111 Pondfort Trail. Check them out at Steph'sPizza.com, Steph'sPizza.com. And remember, tonight's a good night for Steph's Pizza.
Hi, I'm Mark Sutherland, founder of Stone Ledge Distillery, and I'd like to give you a bottle of Stolock whiskey or Inversion vodka. Just register now at NewsTalkSTL.com and come experience what Missouri Ozark Highlands craftsmanship really tastes like. At our tasting room in historic Defiance, you'll enjoy Stolock whiskey, Inversion vodka, and other Missouri-made spirits, wine, and craft beer in a beautiful cocktail lounge, our cigar room, or out on the patio every weekend. And right now, win a bottle of Stolock or Inversion at NewsTalkSTL.com. Come raise a glass in Defiance.
What's the best way to get rid of a timeshare that you don't want? Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline. We're a group of attorneys that help customers legally exit their timeshares. It's an easy process. We guarantee results or you pay nothing. Exit your timeshare today. Call now.
800-524-1641. 800-524-1641. That's 800-524-1641.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Count Apple News as fake news. We're going to talk to Dan Schneider from the Media Research Center all about that Thursday morning at 10:41.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. The 80s.
Excellent.
Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Hey, yo, that's my homeboy Snoopy's on the block. Hey, this is pretty funky.
Have a funky, funky Christmas. Have a funky, funky Christmas.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
Okay, I don't know the funky Christmas song.
I don't know this either. Who sings this?
Have you heard of a group called New Kids on the Block?
Oh, yeah,
a little bit.
It did kind of have that beat to it, but
So I was not aware of this, but apparently they have an entire Christmas-themed album, and this is quite literally called A Funky, Funky Christmas.
I meant to ask you earlier if we had that Band-Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas amongst our bumper songs today? Because that's the quintessential 80s Christmas song.
Oh, You should have sent your flashback.
I should. I know. I fell down on the job.
And then I'm going to expose Jerome to the most famous kind of pop star, rock star Christmas album of all time. This was a very big fad back in the day. The very special Christmas albums. There was three of them. They had the red cover, then there was like a gold cover, and then a green cover. And it was like basically the all-stars getting together and singing songs. So the first one that came out in 1987 featured everyone from the Pointer Sisters to the Pretenders to Bruce Springsteen to Sting, who has my favorite tune on this album, Gabriel's Message, U2, Bon Jovi, Stevie Nicks, and all the rest of them. So
you got to say it like that, right?
Stevie Nicks. Well, I said she sounds like a goat.
She does.
She sings Silent Night.
Lovely.
Yeah. That's my Stevie Nicks.
We could go on forever about 80s Christmas tunes, but I don't want to keep the congressman waiting. We are joined now by Congressman Bob Onder. Hello, Bob. How are you this morning?
Good morning. Great to be back.
Great to have you back. I'm so glad you're on with us today because you guys have been busy this week. There's been lots of votes in the House, and I kind of wanted to have you review some of those with us, not least of which was the passage of the NDAA.
Yeah, the NDAA, of course, funds our national defense. About approximately $900 billion. Unbelievably, that number is surpassed by the interest on our debt right now. But yeah, the emphasis of the NDAA was to restore readiness, restore an emphasis on merit in our military. Get rid of some of the woke social programs that we've seen proliferating under the Biden administration, and to fund next generation military priorities of Donald Trump. Things like the Golden Dome and the new F-47 fighters. So yeah, we did. It was a rocky week, but we did get that done at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Doc, one of the things that happily failed was the Democrats' effort to continue yet again the failed Obamacare super subsidies that were buried in one of Joe Biden's massive spending bills back during the COVID era. Bob, the Democrats wrote these COVID era super subsidies for Obamacare because Obamacare was starting to falter and fail during those years. They wrote the bill. They wrote in the deadline of this year, and now they want to extend it. But if you Republicans don't, then it's all your fault. I mean, Bob, first of all, you and I, who have been railing about Obamacare since the moment the ink was dry on the paper, how much it would be a failure, we were right? And secondly, we need to do something different than just continue this failed experiment in partial government takeover of our healthcare system, don't we?
Well, yeah, that's right, Tim. We have been fighting Obamacare since the very beginning. Remember the promises of Barack Obama. If you like your doctor, you can keep him. If you like your health plan, you can keep it. And this is the third promise that people don't remember quite as well. And the average American family will save $2,500 a year on their health insurance. Like your health plan, you can keep it. Your health plan was outlawed unless you had employer-sponsored health insurance, which was more or less unaffected by the Obamacare law, although Obamacare contributed to increased healthcare costs for all of us for myriad reasons. But yes, first of all, if you were an individual small business, they outlawed your plan and they forced you into this one-size-fits-all Obamacare that we predicted would accelerate costs. And the very first year, Tim, which was 2014, that the Obamacare exchanges were fully in effect, those premiums went up 47%. Since then, they've gone up another 98%. So what the Democrats want us to do is double down on failure. Yes, in 21 and 22, first in ARPA, then in the IRA, in the pretense that somehow we would fight COVID by throwing more money into the failed Obamacare system. They jacked up subsidies to the health insurers because this money, they call it a tax credit, but it's not a tax credit like you claim on your return. It's money that goes directly to the insurance companies. So they poured more money into the Obamacare system. Insurance companies jacked up their rate. Everyone pays more. And the Democrats want us to double down on that failed system. Fortunately, yesterday there were votes in the Senate, and that was rejected. But I wouldn't count it dead yet. There's still talk, and there were squishy Republicans joining Democrats in discharge petitions and all sorts of nonsense. So we've got to keep fighting.
Yeah. You mentioned squishy Republicans. I know that Mike Johnson has had his hands full trying to keep a very slim margin majority united, and that's not an easy thing. And I think he's going to continue to struggle with that. But one thing I think most of the Republicans were on the same page on was voting down the I don't know, what is this, the 87th attempt to impeach President Trump?
Yes. Yes, Al Green, the lunatic Democrat who famously shook his big old stick at President Trump during the State of the Union address this year. He had an impeachment resolution, and we voted that down. Yes.
And Bob, it's notable, isn't it, that 23 of your Democratic colleagues basically decided to stop the insanity, right? So I don't know if they're going to keep trying to do this, but I think it's great that they got their vote on this, because maybe they'll give up the ghost and actually start working on things that matter to the American people.
Well, yeah, that's right. At what point do the Democrats say that, orange man bad, we hate Trump is not a winning message? Obviously, they tried it in 2024. It didn't work. President Trump won 77 million votes in an electoral college landslide. But they same thing, different day. They now are talking about affordability. We should all be talking about affordability, because even though inflation today at about 3% is dramatically down from the Biden era, people are still hurting, because remember when Biden inflation peaked under Biden at 9.2% in June of 2022. It's not like we subsequently had deflation, so we're still living with high prices from the Biden era. But yeah, I don't know when the Democrats learn that the American people are not buying what they're selling.
Good morning, Congressman Dr. Bob Onder. This is producer Jerome chiming in real quick.
Hey, Jerome.
So I noticed back in late November, President Trump signed the bill effectively federally banning Delta 8 and hemp products. Missouri just started getting its budding THC industry going. And I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on if this is going to be a major negative impact on Missouri's economy, or is this not something that, because we're one of the few states that actually don't ban hemp at the moment?
I'm sorry, we're one of the few states that ban hemp?
That does not ban hemp.
That does not ban hemp. Well, yeah, under the 2018 Farm Bill, I believe it was, Senator Rand Paul and Senator Mitch McConnell, both, of course, of Kentucky, got together and put into the Farm Bill a provision to legalize what we used to call industrial hemp that didn't have high Delta 9 THC content. And then, some enterprising chemists, because I remember claims like you could smoke a whole field full of industrial hemp and not get high. And I think that was actually true, because the THC content was quite low. But some enterprising chemists and entrepreneurs got together and figured out how to turn the CBD in industrial hemp into Delta 8 THC, so another THC, psychoactive type product. And really that has, again, because of the 2018 Farm Bill, been completely unregulated. So at smoke shops and even convenience stores and so on, supplement stores, one can walk in and buy all of that one wants, whereas regular marijuana, Delta 9 THC, is highly regulated. So yeah, I don't see it having major impact on the economy. There's a substitution effect to some extent. I think some people were doing this Delta 8 stuff because marijuana is fairly expensive, pretty highly regulated, highly taxed. Some substitution effect with alcohol, drinking infused beverages. But yeah, that's kind of where we stand right now. But I think in terms of the size of the Missouri economy, I don't see a huge impact.
We just have a couple minutes left here, but I do want to ask you this. Obviously, we're heading into the Christmas holiday season, and then the deadline for getting the appropriations measures all passed is January 30th, and we're starting to hear rumblings of, oh gosh, are we going to be heading into another shutdown? You guys obviously have your work cut out for you. Are there additional votes expected today or next week on some of the appropriations measures, or at least some of the more high-profile agenda items?
Yeah, well, I certainly hope so, Susie. We, in the House, we actually have passed all 12 appropriation bills out of committee. Of course, we passed, both chambers passed 3 of the appropriation bills as part of the government reopening bill, something that very few Democrats helped us with. But yes, we're facing another looming deadline of another shutdown if we don't get these budget bills passed. I mean, it was encouraging. We were able to get the NDAA done in a bipartisan way, but I don't know if the Democrats make the same ridiculous demands as a condition of keeping the government open that they did back this summer, we could be headed toward another shutdown, I fear.
And Bob, do you think we will see a reconciliation bill 2.0 possibly in the new year before the campaign silly season fully kicks into gear?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. And, what might that reconciliation bill include? I certainly hope it would include some provisions to truly expand choice and restore some semblance of a marketplace to healthcare. Again, Obamacare outlawed the private insurance market. We need more choices to bring down costs, not fewer. So association health plans, expanding short-term health plans. Our good friend Justin Hill and I used to talk about short-term health plans and their potential all the time when Justin was a state rep. Expanding HSAs, radical transparency so people can go in to a hospital, doctor's office, clinic, and know exactly what things are going to cost. All those things can bring down the cost of healthcare. And really, when we talk about affordability, nowhere in our economics lives is affordability more of a problem than it is in healthcare.
Amen.
Amen. Well, Bob, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Really early. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Now, I've been wondering what's going on in Venezuela with these boats.
What is going on in Venezuela?
Well, actually, I think you've got some more information on what's going on. So stay tuned so you can hear what's going on with these Venezuelan boats.
Have a funky, funky Christmas. Have a funky, funky Christmas.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
I have to tell you, if this is how they're going to behave, I'm rethinking my position.
News Talk STL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rate you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
All the little children are in shock. No more loud, annoying high falsetto. Now there's no more new kids on the block. They were singing their new hit song. Cover girls with the right stuff. Now they're trophies for reindeer. Mounted on his mantle, hanging tough.
Bill O'Reilly here. Check out the O'Reilly Update this afternoon at 3:45. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
We are back with Mike Ferguson in the morning without Mike Ferguson.
It feels so weird to be here without him.
I know. Well, it's hard to do that because he won't let us make him leave.
Where did this song come from?
So, okay.
Yeah, explain this. This is kind of funny.
So this is called New Kids Got Run Over by a Reindeer. And some radio station back in the 80s, the Kelly and Klein Show, apparently made this because they were not fans of New Kids on the Block, which was the artist from the last song we played.
Right.
So I did not coordinate this. I guess we have one really big New Kids on the Block fan and one person that cannot stand them, and each one of them suggested both of these. So,
right. So we're getting both sides of the coin, basically.
Fantastic.
Love it. Love
Indeed.
it.
Are there any bands like that you guys would ever make a song to diss about? No.
Gosh.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah. I'm kind of like agnostic on Taylor.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that she has become a freaking billionaire.
Yeah.
I think that's remarkable and outstanding. I don't understand how it happened,
To me, she's like the modern day Madonna. Now, there are differences, obviously, in their styles and their approach and everything like that. But she's kind of, in terms of like having figured out and hit upon the way to just brand and market herself like crazy. It's kind of, they're like the Trumps of the music world.
There was a run there, or the Kardashians. There was a run there where everything that Madonna did. I know now younger people may look at Madonna as some kind of freak show, and that's kind of what she's become.
She was money for a while.
But whenever it didn't matter, and when she opened her mouth and sang something, it was a hit.
Yeah,
it didn't matter. And even if you didn't necessarily like her or her music, you couldn't avoid it because the songs were in the top 10 every single week, every single album. And then she started getting into the really provocative stuff with the books and all that, and really kind of pushing the envelope. And now I think she's just weird. She's kind of like, now we're wondering when the spaceships are going to come back and pick her up.
Right. She definitely jumped the shark quite a while ago, but there was a moment. There was a moment in time. This moment is kind of characterized by some really weird goings on in the Southern Hemisphere.
South of town. Yes.
Yeah. So Venezuela, obviously tensions are high. We've had this whole issue with the drug boats, which, if you notice, kind of seems to be like on the tail end of that story. I mean, I'm not saying that the story's over. I'm not saying there isn't going to continue to be fallout from that, but it seems like oh my gosh, war crimes, impeachment.
Well, maybe they should stop defending narco terrorists. I mean, everything the Democrats do these days, they're on the opposite side of civilization. You know, and not even the Republican Party, not even Trump. They're on the opposite side of Western civilization, which I know they think that's racist and xenophobic as well. But Susie, isn't it fascinating how we got here? A year ago, 6 months ago, we weren't talking about nuking Venezuelan drug boats. We knew we had a drug problem in this country. We've had it for decades. We knew that fentanyl and cocaine and all this other stuff was flooding in here. But I don't know that we knew that Venezuela apparently is at the root cause of a lot of this.
Yeah, I don't think we
one
know
of the biggest
extent of
offenders.
it.
I know the Mexican. We've talked about Mexican drug cartels forever. We haven't really focused on the Venezuelan part in this, but obviously smart people in the government know that this has been going on, and finally they've taken some action.
Well, and it's part and parcel of, declaring foreign terrorist organizations like TDA, the different gangs that are actually in charge of this.
That's true too. Yes.
So it's a multi-pronged approach to it. But the big news this week, of course, was that we seized this tanker,
which is a totally separate issue. And I heard the Justice Department explaining this, that they were basically arguing that one has nothing to do with the other because it's completely divergent legal theories here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this yesterday. I'm like, there's a reason why the Justice Department was the one out in front of this story, not the military.
Yeah,
We're not talking about a military strike. I mean, they used military forces to seize the vessel.
Right.
But this is basically a criminal operation, but it has to do with the sanctions, and it has to do with the fact we learned
of
yesterday
oil. Where and there likely is a drug component in this, because I'm sure everything Venezuela does has something to do with the illegal
there's
drug
some
trade.
overlap, I'm sure.
But this was largely about illegal sanctioned oil being
And
transported.
we learned yesterday that they believe that this ship was spoofing its location. So it wasn't where it was saying it was. So that's all part and parcel of this as well.
Sounds like Mission Impossible.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
I know, because when they were talking about, it left port December 2nd, they seized it the 9th or, like a week later, but it was still, I'm like, where exactly was this? And there's a lot more to learn about it, but you'll notice the people who normally squawk the loudest about this administration haven't really been squawking about this particular story.
They have not, because it seems like on this one, there's not a lot of room for argument on this one, and the DOJ has fairly buttoned this one down with everything they did that brought it to the point where we seized the vessel. And I love Trump's response on this. I think it was yesterday. Some stupid reporter. Is that a double entendre?
Oxymoron.
Oxymoron. Yeah, oxymoron.
Redundancy.
Some reporter said, well, what are you going to do with the oil? And he looked at her and he was like, I don't know. I guess we're going to keep it. That's what he responded. We're not going to give it back.
Right. Here. Yeah. I don't know. I have so many questions. I wish so much that I could get we could get the behind the scenes and really understand what's all going on. And I feel like in time we will. I will note this. I do think Maduro's days and minutes are numbered. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see him singing "Don't Worry, Be Happy" to the crowd?
Yes. He sang some other song a few weeks ago too.
Yeah. Yes. Oh gosh, what was it?
He loves karaoke.
Yeah. So he's got this. There's a video of him. He's got this Panama straw hat on and kind of like a loose fitting shirt, and he's standing with a bunch of people behind him with the hats on too, and he's singing "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
Yeah, and before the lovely liberals in our audience, and I know there's many who actually want to start complaining about it and defending another totalitarian dictator, Susie, we should remind people how we got to this point. He is holding on to power after he was duly not elected in the last election.
It's an illegal election. Exactly.
It's kind of an insurrection, isn't it?
It is.
And now the Democrats are defending that. Such upside down world.
Their instincts are not good on this, and it all comes down to where's Trump? We're going to do the exact opposite. And to President Trump's credit, he's figured that out.
Yes.
He's got their number, so he knows. Take an issue that's going to be popular and just let them flail away against it.
Epic troller.
Now stay tuned. We'll be right back.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
You know, there's a certain way we do things around here, the Grasser way.
The Grasser way?
We don't cut corners and we don't take shortcuts. Not on the little stuff and not on the big stuff.
We do the big stuff.
That's right. Whole home generators that kick on the moment the grid gives up. Lights stay on, heat stays on, your family stays safe, so your house stays warm.
And your ice cream stays frozen.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeServices.com.
If you turned 65 recently like me, it's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you.
800-439-7851. 800-439-7851. 800-439-7851. That's 800-439-7851.
News, analysis, opinion.
He lines up 4 deals with countries.
Trump signed trade and mineral deals with Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. In Provo, Utah,
the 22-year-old Utah man charged with killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk made his first in-person court appearance.
Court is now in session.
Tyler Robinson arrived with restraints on his wrists and ankles. His legal team and the county sheriff's office asked Judge Tony Graff to ban cameras in the courtroom. The judge said no to the ban.
The sanction for today is that this camera will be relocated away from defense table to where the bailiff is.
I'm Ed Donahue.
The Trump administration vows to appeal a federal judge's release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, an illegal immigrant who had been living in Maryland. The White House says he's not only here illegally and should be deported, but has been involved in human trafficking and is a gang member, allegations that he denies. Now, about that U.S. seizure of an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela.
It was a successful operation directed by the president to ensure that we're pushing back on a regime that is systematically covering and flooding our country with deadly drugs and killing our next generation of Americans.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
Well, I won't broadcast any future actions from the administration, but I will just reiterate that the Trump administration is executing on the president's sanction policies and the sanction policies of the United States. And we're not going to stand by and watch sanctioned vessels sail the seas with black market oil, the proceeds of which will fuel narco-terrorism of rogue and illegitimate regimes around the world.
No relief yet from the devastating flooding in the Pacific Northwest. A grand jury has declined for a second time in a week to re-indict New York's Attorney General Letitia James. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures are mixed. Dow futures are up 83 points, while the NASDAQ futures are down 145. Townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-524-4948. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-524-4948. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-52. Will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-524-4948 or biglou.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a mostly cloudy day, highs into the upper 30s. The big news is the first alert weather day as we head off into Saturday. During the morning hours, we'll start to see the possibility of some light snow. It'll be scattered across the metro and even higher totals expected towards the northeast. We're going to see accumulations on the ground potentially. Then we look off into late Saturday night, Sunday morning temperatures back towards the 0 degree mark in some areas. Going to be dangerously cold across the area. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Is your retirement income at risk if you or your spouse needs nursing home or in-home care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. The cost of long-term care is one of the biggest risks in retirement planning. For many retirees, a single nursing home stay can cause a significant reduction in assets that can permanently reduce your retirement income. Fortunately, there are affordable and flexible options available today that can help you manage the cost of long-term care. our team can help you address the risks relevant to your retirement, including long-term care. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Mike Ferguson.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Susie Moore.
They look very aggressive. I think they want to beat me up.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin God.
Welcome back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show. Susie Moore filling in for Mike today while he takes a well-deserved day off once we kicked him out of the studio. I'm here with Jerome. I'm here with Tim Jones. We just got done doing our Kofifi dance.
Christmas Kofifi dance.
Christmas Kofifi dance.
Yes. I wore my Christmas flannel for you.
I like it.
Today, yeah.
I like it. I just went with the traditional News Talk STL pullover. But
It's not really my Christmas flannel, but,
it's got red and green,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I wear it this time of year once or twice.
I think it works.
Yeah. It's freaking cold outside.
It
So
is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know if you were like chopping out a Christmas tree when you walked in.
Later.
Later. That's
Yeah.
that's the sugar for your that.
Tim Bunyan.
You know, we never did that. I grew up in the woods, and we always had the artificial trees, and we still do.
Really?
I think real Christmas. Number one, stop killing nature. So and number two, I sound like a greenie, don't I?
Yeah.
Number two, it's a mess.
It is a mess.
It's an absolute god awful mess. I'm sorry, and I'm a bit of a neat freak, as some people know.
When I was a kid, we always got live trees, but we went to the Christmas tree lot and got them.
Right.
We didn't go chop them down in the woods. But yeah.
And I'm
we-
teasing about the green stuff. You know what? I think, because evergreens grow really fast.
They do.
And so if there's one thing that can be harvested with abandon, it's evergreens because they grow really fast. And honestly, also, did you know I read a stat the other day, despite all the wailing and crying, and I'm so glad that the climate cult is almost dead and buried, at least for now, because did you see that a lot of their stuff has been blown out of the water over the last few months? And there was a major retraction. I don't know if you guys talked about that this week. There was a major retraction of a major climate study that has them really back on their heels this week.
I think Ward wrote about that.
I think he did. Maybe where I saw it. But there are more trees now in the covering the United States of America than there were 200 years ago. Because we did have a bad habit in the frontier lands of kind of clear cutting everything. Well, most of that has largely been replanted and repopulated. And even when we do subdivisions now a days, yes, there's some clear cutting that gets done, but like my subdivision is now about 35, 40 years old, and it has been completely reforested to the point where sometimes there's an animal invasion, that's going on. I mean, we've got like Mutual of Omaha up there on our hill between the armadillos and the deer and the skunks and the possums and the raccoons. Don't even get me started on the squirrels and the rabbits and everything else. So
that reminds me of
it's like a freaking Bambi horror film,
No, but that reminds me of a couple of years ago when they're trying to do the whole global warming scare, and then it turns out that the ice, the glaciers, and is actually gaining ice, not losing it now.
Yeah.
So they're trying to scare us into this massive, everything's going to melt, it's all going to flood, and then it turns out no, the exact opposite is actually happening.
The grift has been exposed.
The arrogance of human beings trying to portray some kind of climate alarmism based on meteorological data versus geological data is the height of both arrogance and stupidity at the same time. Because, Susie, my understanding is our meteorological records, tough word to say at 7:08 in the morning, but I got it out twice, go back only like 100, 150 years at the most.
Yeah.
But to Jerome's point, if you look at the geological data, which is going to give you a much better view of the rising and cooling trends of the planet, to Jerome's point, many geologists have been arguing for decades that we are actually in a warming period between two ice ages. And there's another geological position. And I think we had this guy on our show, Jones and Arps, every afternoon, 4 to 6 p.m. And I know Larry Connors has had this fella on at least twice because I've heard him, where he talks about when you look at the warming periods on the planet, evolutionary wise, you will see that mankind flourishes during the warmer periods because you don't die from things like frostbite and exposure and is it hyperthermia? Hypothermia. And food crops tend to reproduce in abundance versus the cooler or the worse yet, ice age periods. Humankind generally survives better under warmer climes than under cooler or colder ones.
On a personal level, I can relate to that because I much prefer the warmer months than the cold ones, but that's just me.
Hello, Florida and Texas.
I know. I'm
And
in the wrong
Arizona
place.
and everything else. That's why look at where we've migrated in this country. Yes, it has a lot to do with tax policy and regulatory policy and generally being woke or not. But it also has to do with climate because we're human beings and we like to be comfortable.
I'm kicking myself that I didn't ask Bob Onder about this.
What's that?
He talked about Al Green.
Yes.
And his stick. I wanted to know, does he shake that cane at everybody? Do they all have to duck out of the way when they enter the House chamber?
It's like Oprah, you're getting impeached and you're getting impeached. Everybody's impeached.
What's the character from The Simpsons? The old guy.
Oh, it's Grandpa,
Is
isn't
it Grandpa? Yeah, he
think
reminds me of
so.
Grandpa from The Simpsons, Al Green.
Well, it
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of my great-grandmother because she had a she had a cane.
Al
and
Green.
She was not a nice person.
Al Green and an old white lady.
She didn't. Yeah, she did not like the little kids that much. She was not a warm fuzzy person. So as a very small child, I learned very quickly to stay out of reach of that cane because it would it would not. She wouldn't beat you with it, but she would knock you with the cane if you were in her way.
Is she German?
Yes. Well, no, wait a second. She married a German.
Married a German.
She was English and Irish, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
She was a Hamilton.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
she married Kurt von Fursch.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a oh my goodness.
They didn't get along that well. That's a whole different story. But anyway, so I see Al Green shaking that cane, and again, we talked about this. He brought in other articles of impeachment against President Trump, and
Which
even
failed miserably.
Even Democrats voted against that. 23.
Yeah, 23 Democrats.
I need to go back and look and see which ones they are because I need to put them in my possibly sane list because there are a few of them.
Yeah, probably purple district
Yeah.
Democrats. I doubt any of the hardcores, but at least look, Susie, sometimes good politics does make good public policy. Not all the time, but sometimes it does.
Yeah.
And in this situation, if these people are in toss-up districts and they're going, half my voters may not like this ongoing, never-ending tedious. It also gets, look, even if you do think that Trump is a horrible human being, you've been disproven on that about 8 bazillion times. Give up the ghost, quit the con. You're not going to throw the guy out of office on a technicality or even through 50,000 indictments because it hasn't. You've tried it. You've tried it all. It hasn't worked. He's got 3 years left in office until he gets reelected again in 2028. So just, give it up. I was sliding that in there.
I like that. I don't know if it's going to be persuasive to them, but there's some people that are just so dug in on and they're so invested in it they can't. But we've seen this all week long. There were 3 other cabinet members that they've moved to impeach this week. No,
that's right. Yes,
Kennedy.
Yes,
and Hegseth.
Yes, and as far as I understand, I don't know if I understand. Maybe I understand with RFK. They have policy disputes with some of his things that, vaccinate, don't vaccinate, eat this food, don't eat that food, issues with the autism arguments and all that. Okay. So those are maybe some legitimate policy debates with Noam and Hegseth. Susie, they literally don't like the fact that the two of them are doing their job. That's what it comes down to. That one lunatic, I think we even have a clip on this. Jerome, I don't know if you got those from when I sent you clips last night. You may not have even seen it. We can bring one up later in the show. But I sent a clip where a congressman is yelling at Kristi Noem and saying that she's lying.
Shri Thanadar.
And yeah, that guy's a lunatic.
Yeah, he is.
And not doing her job. And I'm like, wait a minute. She's deporting illegal aliens and keeping the nation safe. That's the very definition of her job.
Yeah. Yeah. It's none of those are going anywhere. But it's like we can see what you're doing. We can see the playbook. It's wide open. They're doing everything they can to separate President Trump from his very effective cabinet. Don't be surprised if next week there are impeachment articles drawn up for Scott Bessent.
Probably because they're blowing their narrative out of the water every single day. And here's the thing. This kind of political tactic we have learned over the last recent decades, it doesn't work for either party, right? When Barack Obama, one of the worst presidents of the modern age, was in office for 2 terms, the Republicans only seemed to want to do Barack Obama bad, kind of like Orange Man bad. And the candidates they put up against Barack Obama, John McCain and Mitt Romney, were absolutely horrible. And so the Republicans weren't standing for something. They were only standing against something. Same, look at Donald Trump, same exact thing. It's the same, when I can make the same argument on both political parties, we're probably on to something.
Yes.
And they did it with Donald Trump and they failed. Well, we had that little interim weirdness in 2020, which I'm still not going to give up the ghost on that. But he has been elected president twice. Okay. So he will serve 2 full presidential terms, just like Barack Obama did. And also in the case of Trump, they don't seem to be able to have an argument against him other than Orange Man bad. It didn't work when Republicans were trying to defeat Obama. It largely didn't work with Democrats trying to defeat Trump. You have to not only stand against maybe the badness that you see in the candidate, you also have to stand for something with a candidate of your own who appeals to the masses.
Well, the other thing about that is, too, if you want to actually be successful as the opposition party, it pays to find the common ground and find some things that you do agree on, because that lends you credibility. If you're saying, look, I can't stand the guy, but he's right on, issue X and Y, we can get on the same page with that. People see the fact that you're actually leading, you're actually trying to do something effective instead of just railing against the guy.
Claim credit for something.
Yes.
Like the passage of this NDAA bill, right? I haven't really looked at it that closely. We'll talk to Jim Talon about it and get really in depth with it on Monday on our show, but like we always do. But, the Democrats that voted for that and helped that get across the finish line, I'm sure there's some really good nuggets in there where they can say, look, we're standing up for America and our national defense and for the military. That's standing for something. So then you can then maybe argue why they should also adopt your left-wing loony platform when you're running for re-election, in addition to actually standing for something while hating Trump at the same time.
Be the smart thing, but, far be it from them to do the smart thing. I
don't want to give them any more political advice.
Hey, we've still got our food drive going on for the next 9 days, and we have this important add to it. St. Louis Windows and Doors and STL Window Cleaners are joining our efforts for Feed My People. Just drop off non-perishable items at their Earth City location or text your name and address to 314-277-5952, and they will stop by on December 22nd to pick them up. It's like reverse Instacart. You should do it. Help it out. It's a great cause. Feed My People.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. Someone in that control room is out of control on News Talk STL.
What are you waiting for? Get up!
On the next Larry Connors USA.
Tonight's story behind the story, the Empire State Building. Things you probably didn't know.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Hey there, Chris Cooper of Serenity Wealth Management. Join us this Sunday right here on News Talk STL for Serenity Wealth Now Radio. This week, we're featuring special guest Jonathan Heslop of the Rockwood Charcoal Company. He's no stranger to News Talk STL, and we're going to find out why it's okay to be on the naughty list and get some charcoal in your stocking. Tune in right here, News Talk STL, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. or on Serenity Wealth Now social media outlets.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper, Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Hey, how you doing? Santa Vic here.
And Santa's Hedvig head here.
And you can win some great prizes with News Talk STL's St. Louis Conservative Christmas.
You forgot the ho-ho-ho. You forgot the ho-ho-ho.
Oh!
No, ho-ho.
Oh!
Log on to newstalkstl.com for your chance to win great prizes from Havana 1961 Restaurant, Trolley Stop Bakery, and Whistle Pig Outdoors. newstalkstl.com.
Oh!
What if there was a one-stop shop for all your healthcare needs and no insurance was needed? At Bell Healthcare, we make wellness simple. Optimize the patient's life. Struggling with weight loss? We offer proven programs, including GLP-1 treatments like semaglutide. Need hormone therapy? We've got personalized plans for both men and women. Nagging pain or injuries? Chiropractic and regenerative medicine are available. Ready to take control of your health? Visit bellhealthcare.net today and get optimized.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
The 80s. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Hey, Chris Arps from the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show. Make sure that you're listening to our show this afternoon from 4 to 6. Now back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
Welcome back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show. Susie Moore here, Tim Jones here, Jerome here. We are gliding into the last couple weeks of December, the Christmas holiday season, with our Flashback Friday songs. Some good tunes going here.
It's a little Mannheim Steamroller or something like that.
Yes.
Did I get it?
Yes.
Okay.
That is Deck the Halls. That's the original version of theirs. I think it was like 1987 or 84 that this was released. But what was it about the synth that you guys were so obsessed with in the 80s?
We weren't. So I don't know. Did you get into this? I really didn't much.
It was
part of the culture, Jerome.
Okay.
With all the rock bands and the pop bands using the synthesizer.
Yeah.
Bobby Susie.
I was just trying to think. I mean, it seemed like, okay, you got to
It
have.
seemed like music at the time,
Yeah.
Jerome.
No, you got to put it in context because the 70s, you started out when 70s ended up, the late 70s was disco.
Yes.
And that was a very different sound from what had come before it. And there was sort of a, that was sort of the loosey-goosey
Yeah.
Club 54 type.
John Travolta.
Right. And then the 80s were kind of like the
Bee Gees.
yuppie reaction to that.
Yes, Duran
and
Duran.
this went with, I don't know, the sound matched the clothing.
Flock of Seagulls-esque.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not expressing this well, but that sound captured like everything was kind of like
The poppy attitude
moving
of
into
the era.
high
Yeah.
tech. and
Yeah,
you-
we're cool. We're hip. We're Gordon Gekko, Wall Street.
You went. I mean, just if you look at the fashions, they matched the music, and I
They
don't
really
know how
did.
else to explain it.
The sound matched the goofy clothes.
It
yeah.
did.
And so my wife, Suzanne, doesn't have a problem, I don't think, with Mannheim Steamroller, but she does not like the dark alternative Trans-Siberian Orchestra. She calls that angry Christmas music.
It really is, though.
Yeah.
It kind of is.
So Mannheim Steamroller is the lighter, poppier version
Yes.
of the synth, as Jerome says. I like that, the synth. Whereas Trans-Siberian Orchestra gets a lot more dark and
They do.
dangerous. Yeah.
They do.
Dun, 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 dun.
I know.
You will have a happy Christmas.
Wait a second. Wasn't Mike yelling yesterday?
You will have a Merry
Was
Christmas.
he? Was he really?
He said that exact thing.
It was beautiful.
I
It was
must have
amazing
heard that,
time.
and I put it in the back of my head.
It scared me. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I ran out of breath laughing so hard.
Oh, angry Christmas. Well, we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to like build on that. and have
Like
some fun
Bad
with it.
Santa.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Which is what Vic looks like when he dresses up as Santa Claus.
He was so ready to be out of that Santa
Yeah.
suit by the end of the
He looked
evening.
exasperated, but it was hilarious.
It
I got my
was.
picture with Santa Vic.
Did you?
Yes.
I didn't even make my way back to him before he was like, I'm done. I'm over it.
I refused to sit on his lap, though. That's what Jeff wanted. That's what
Oh.
Jeff wanted me to do, and I,
I
said, "I'm
don't-
only
did
going to do so
anyone
much for the
actually
team."
do that?
Maybe his little elf friend Ken. I don't know. So, Susie, tell me. This is becoming R-rated quickly here in the morning. Tell me if you think I'm right on this. Have you guys heard, either one of you? Well, Jerome may not get this reference, but you will, because you're wise and like me. An a wise elderly person like me.
Yeah.
So that promo of Santa Vic, where they're talking about, it's the promo that's running on the station right now.
I'm trying to think. if I've heard
And
it.
Ken at one point says, "You forgot the ho ho ho." He says, "You
Oh.
forgot the ho ho ho."
Uh-huh.
And Vic goes, "Oh!" And he goes, "No, ho ho oh." Vic's doing the whole New Jersey thing. When Ken says those words, you know who he sounds exactly like? And I told him this last night. I said, "You sound exactly like Bob Newhart."
Oh.
And he sounds like Bob Newhart in the scene from Elf with, what's his face?
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Oh, I'm
He
going to have to go back and
sounds
listen to that
He
now.
sounds exactly like Bob, the famous Bob Newhart. Yes.
Okay, I get it.
He's like, "You forgot," because that kind of dry, low monotone. I'm like, dude, you were channeling Bob Newhart, whether you knew it or
That's
not.
so funny.
He's like, hey, Vic, you forgot Santa, you forgot the ho. And he's like, "Oh," He's doing the whole Sopranos
Right. I
thing.
kept hearing that,
Yeah.
and I was like hearing Vinnie Barbarino. Like that's what it sounded like. Like this,
from Welcome Back, Kotta.
From Welcome Back, Kotta.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know how we got off on this tangent.
Well, because we know all this stuff. Because
guess.
we literally lived it. Do you have any idea who Bob Newhart is, Jerome? You have any idea what we're talking about here?
Not a clue.
There was a famous sitcom. Was it called Newhart?
Well, there were two.
Well,
the original one was the Bob Newhart Show, I think.
I'm referring to the one where he's running the inn in Vermont.
That's the later one. That is Newhart.
Okay. So there was this famous show called Newhart, Jerome, and Bob Newhart, the main character, ends up moving from New York up to Vermont, right?
Right.
It's like a play on the famous movie White Christmas.
Yeah.
Right. It's basically a comedic spinoff of that kind of concept. And he loosely based. And he goes up to Vermont. And he's running this inn, and there's all these goofy characters.
Daryl and his other brother Daryl.
Yeah, he had Daryl and his other brother Daryl. So these two brothers were named Daryl. And it was the third one, Lenny or something.
Yeah, it was like there was two Daryls.
I'm Larry. I'm Larry. This is my brother Daryl. This is my other brother
Daryl.
Daryl. And the three of them would always come into the inn together, Jerome. And that was like a part of the shtick. And then I'm going to go ahead and spoil this, Susie, because this sitcom ended like 15 years ago. And if people don't know the ending,
Tim, it ended about 30 years ago.
okay, well then you're just late to the game. So the very last episode, Jerome, Bob Newhart wakes up back in home in New York in his bed, looks at his wife and says, I just had the weirdest dream ever. We moved to Vermont and I opened up an inn. So the whole thing was maybe just a fever dream.
That's how Harry Potter ends as well, right? He's back underneath the staircase.
Maybe.
And he wasn't a wizard at all, right?
Yeah.
No. I don't think that happened, but it might have.
Newhart is an American television sitcom that aired on CBS from October 25th, 1982 to May 21st, 1990.
I'm sorry.
15 years ago. You're
not.
like me. You're like me. You think
That just happened
you think the
yesterday.
90s was a decade ago.
Yeah. I just ended last week. So
It's 30 years in the rearview mirror.
I'm sorry I drove us off on that tangent.
Well, that's
Were we going to
okay.
talk about something serious this
Well,
segment?
the only thing I would go ahead.
I was going to say, we do have news. Eventually, we have to tell the good people.
I guess. The thing I was going to talk about was Kristi Noem.
Yes.
Speaking of being impeached.
Noem ain't having it.
She ain't having it. She was on the Hill yesterday testifying. There was a hearing about the violence against Homeland Security officials and personnel, that sort of thing.
We're attacking people. We're attacking law and order people because we don't like their law and order.
Right. Yeah. Well, she wasn't having it. The Democrats did their best to run at her, and I don't know. Did you see the clip with Benny Thompson?
I did.
Unbelievable. So he's referring to the attack on the National Guardsmen the day before Thanksgiving, and he referred to it as an unfortunate accident.
An unfortunate accident. That's when you slip and fall, not when someone shoots you in the head.
Yeah. And as soon as he got pushed back, he kind of walked back, but not really, because he said incident. It's like, not
Accident,
unfortunate.
incident.
No, it was a terror attack.
It was a terrorist attack and an attempted murder. And in one case, it was a murder. It was a murder. It was an assassination.
Yeah.
It was arguably another political assassination.
Yeah. So she basically took him down on that. And then Andy Ogles really went off and actually almost swore on the floor. He was just like undone by it. And then you referenced this earlier, Shri Thanadar.
Sounds like a character from Star Wars.
Well, he looks like a character from Star Wars.
He does. And from that little bar scene, you know.
No, he is straight out of the bar scene, the Mos Eisley Cantina, right? Because he's got the weird hair piece, I think. This is wrong of me to be making fun of someone's appearance, but I can't help it.
Are you talking about the guy that had his eyebrows?
The eyebrows painted on.
Oh, okay.
Looks kind of like a Mr. Potato Head, where you stick different things on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he's trying to dress up as Donald Trump for Halloween. But
I really feel like he's a character from The Simpsons too, if I can be completely racist and non-politically correct. Would you like sprinkles with that?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But the guy's a buffoon.
He
deserves to be lampooned because he sounds like a complete moron. There's a few of them. They're in the Moron Hall of Fame up there. Mazie Hirono is one of them. This guy, Shri Thanadar, is one of them. And then who's the congressman who thought that if you put too many people on the island of Guam, Hank Johnson's another one. And he had another award-winning performance over the last week as well.
He did. I saw that's one of the clips. We should probably bring that out at some point. But Shri Thanadar, he's basically saying she should resign
for doing her job.
Right. And she's saying, I'll take that as a badge of honor.
That's right. She said, you criticizing me means that I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing, and I will accept that as a badge of honor.
Absolutely.
As she should.
Absolutely. I don't listen. Missouri elected Cori Bush. So,
True.
no. I mean,
And to Shara Jones twice.
Well, I mean, to Congress.
Oh, to Congress. Yeah.
Right.
We've had our winners.
Right.
In the
So-
Loser Hall of Fame.
But then you see somebody like this guy, and you think he's from Michigan, I think. Like, there was enough people that actually voted for him.
Look at Tim Walz. You know? I mean,
Oh,
how
that's true.
how did that guy become a governor? And I can attack Minnesotans because I was actually born there.
Minnesotans.
By happenstance. My dad was stationed there during the end of the Vietnam War. He's a veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a captain in the U.S. Army. And my mom was expecting me. And so because of all of that, they did not ship my father overseas. They shipped him to Minnesota in the winter, which arguably is just as bad, perhaps.
Like kind of Siberia.
Yeah, kind of Siberia. And my dad inspected the food before it was shipped overseas. That was one thing the veterinarians did. And the other thing they did was take care of all the service animals, right?
Okay.
And the canines and all
Makes
that
sense.
stuff. Canine units. And I was born in Edina, which is the land of the cake eaters, as they say in Minnesota. And my mom says, yeah, I don't know that we would recognize what in the world has happened to Minnesota since we left. And they're sad too, because I don't remember it. We moved back when I was 2 years old. But, you know, it was the land of the 10,000 lakes. Now it's just the land of the 10,000 lunatics. And you wonder if there's frostbite on the brain up there, and why in the world they can elect somebody like Tim Walz or wherever he's
from Michigan. I think.
Michigan, you know, something wrong with these northern tier Midwest states.
There
Something in the
is.
water. Maybe too much lead.
Maybe.
Sorry.
So while we were thinking about this, what exactly were the Minnesota fraudsters spending their ill-gotten gains on? We're going to actually talk more about that with Becky Noble here at 7:35, right after Larry Connor's commentary.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a mostly cloudy day, highs into the upper 30s. The big news is the first alert weather day as we head off into Saturday. During the morning hours, we'll start to see the possibility of some light snow. It'll be scattered across the metro, and even higher totals expected towards the northeast. You want to see accumulations on the ground potentially. Then we look off into late Saturday night, Sunday morning temperatures back towards the 0 degree mark in some areas. Going to be dangerously cold across the area. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch.
Why are you going to work? It's Sunday.
It's a brand new show on News Talk STL. JC's Sunday Showgram.
It was 35 years ago this week. People all over the Midwest were anticipating a giant earthquake. The story of Dr. Ivan Browning. Plus, Roger Daltrey tells us about the tragedy of the 1979 Who concert in Cincinnati. And we crack open the Christmas library. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
Sunday morning, 7 to 9. Then podcast each Monday on NewsTalkSTL.com. Larry Connor's commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
The story of fraud in Minnesota continues to unravel, stretching across numerous state agencies. Initial reports claiming $1 billion in fraud, but the counting and investigation continues. Now, Governor Walz is claiming, I'm working hard to stop the fraud. Right. This is the same governor over the last few years ignored more than 500 state employees who were trying to warn him. But they were not just ignored. Some even faced retaliation. The fish rots from the head down. And the numbers for the Center for Immigration show just how far the rot spread. There are about 80,000 Somali refugees in Minnesota, and 81% of them, that's right, 81% are on one or more forms of welfare. Of the native-born Americans in Minnesota, only 21% are on welfare programs. That's a staggering fact. Welfare programs are built as a safety net for those who need it. But if the net is filled with freeloaders and with fraud, it breaks. Although I do agree with a person who said, Minnesota is not about Somalian fraud. Minnesota, and I stand with this statement, is about Democrat fraud.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
In all these years that Wellington Environmental has been my sponsor, I've never mentioned their duct cleaning services. Allergy season is here, and Wellington crews clean air ducts daily in homes and commercial buildings, also cleaning air handling units and diffusers in commercial facilities. Why? Well, because people will see black dirt and mold on the vents, or they are actually suffering from allergies. Don't be fooled by low-cost duct cleaning providers saying they charge only per vent, because once they get on site, the price will skyrocket. Wellington does not do this, never has. Wellington will give you an estimate, and you say Larry Connors, and immediately you get a 20% discount. Call Cindy, 314-644-4930, 314-644-4930. Make your home and business better, safer with Wellington. Be well with Wellington.
This holiday season, help Feed My People fill the shelves. News Talk STL and the STL County GOP are partnering for an annual food drive, November 10th through December 21st. Drop off your non-perishable food donations at all Bartolino's restaurants, all Chris's Pancakes and dining locations, and all 3 Michael's flooring outlets, or at the News Talk STL studios.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli and Ken Williams. We can make a difference for families in need.
Visit NewsTalkSTL.com for complete drop-off locations.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new NewsTalkSTL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
Along those lines, so deck those halls, trim those trees, raise up cups of Christmas cheer. I just need to catch my breath. Christmas by myself this year. Count the picture, frozen landscape, chill this room for 24 days.
Yeah, we are the world's #1 bully, and we're using our immense, unrivaled power to rule over those who have less power. And we're doing it with impunity. And this sends a shocking message to the world that America is indeed what did they used to call the great hand of Satan or something like that? I mean, America under the Trump regime is demonstrating that moniker was entirely accurate. The great Satan. That's what we have become in this country.
Speaking of what we've become in this country, welcome back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show. That was none other than Congressman Hank Johnson, who we were referring to earlier, adopting the language of the Iranian regime.
Yeah, of the Ayatollahs and the mullahs and all the other theocratic dictators.
Right, showing us once again what a rocket surgeon he is.
Indeed.
Welcome back to the show. I just wanted to kind of highlight that because we mentioned it earlier. That's a little snapshot.
That's one of your U.S. congressmen, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. And we've been seeing a snapshot lately of corruption at the state level in Minnesota. We've been talking about that a lot. We're joined now by Becky Noble, who wrote an article on this yesterday about what some of those Minnesota fraudsters were actually spending the money that they were wasting on. Becky, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Susie. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you back. Becky, tell us a little bit about this. I mean, we've been hearing now for several weeks this sort of unraveling of all of the fraud that was going on multiple levels in Minnesota. But one of the maddening things about it is what some of the money that was stolen from programs that were designed to feed hungry children was used and what it was spent on.
Yeah, I think we all see fraud on the state level and on the national level every day, unfortunately. And I think what is so egregious about this particular case is just the scope of it and the breadth of it and the brazenness of it and how much money is involved. But yeah, this was there was a federal trial apparently. There was dozens of defendants in this trial, and CBS News reported also that some of the things that were being spent from this money that was they was supposedly to feed hungry children. They were buying luxury cars. There was I saw a picture of a Porsche Macan SUV, which is not cheap. So they're buying luxury cars. They're going on all these expensive luxury vacations in the Maldives. They're getting private villas. There's videos of them, on the beach popping champagne. There's dozens and dozens of overseas wire transfers. Some of those wire transfers were to China and East Africa, which I don't know about anybody else, but I would translate myself. East Africa equals Somalia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but there were first class tickets to Istanbul and Amsterdam. So just millions and millions of dollars that these people were spending wasn't going to hungry kids. That was the last thing they were thinking of. All of these millions of dollars, lakefront properties in, like I said in my piece, in ironically the land of 10,000 lakes. They were also buying up lakefront property. So all of this money, these millions and millions of dollars, weren't the last thing they were going to do was feed hungry kids. They were spending it on themselves and all of these outrageous things that they were spending it on.
Becky, Tim Jones here. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Great to speak with you. Becky, you all at Red State, I know, have been all over this from day one, but I find it astounding that places like the New York Times are actually even finally picking up on this story, because they're going to have to expose the fact, Becky, right, that this goes back not just a few weeks or months, but decades. And it shows how dysfunctional Democrats are in places like Minnesota. And it proves the point that many of us on the right side of the political spectrum make, that there is plenty of waste, fraud, and abuse in government if we will just bother to look for it, right?
Oh, you're right. You're right, Tim, because this report was first reported, CBS News first reported it. And so, yeah, like the New York Times and the rest of the mainstream media, I think this particular case is going to get so big because all of this is just the tip of the iceberg. This investigation is ongoing and they keep finding more and more things. And a lot of these wire transfers went on between February and July of 2021. And there were text messages with pictures, people texting pictures of each other with, piles and piles of cash.
Wow.
And there were one of the text messages referred to something about sending $1,000 to something called Mogadishu Bakara. And that's a reference to Al-Shabaab, that was a one-time terrorist organization. So that's another facet of this investigation, whether or not a lot of this money may have gotten into the hands of terrorists. So, yeah, they're just hitting the tip of the iceberg. And I think, Tim Walz, I think, is trying to, he's in big time CYA mode now, I think. And I think he's trying to say, I didn't know about, there is no way that Tim Walz didn't know that this was going on. No way.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder about some of the other facets of this. I mean, so here's the thing. When the whole BLM thing came about, and then it was later exposed that a lot of the money raised was used for extravagant purchases, mansions, that sort of thing. Yeah, that was troubling, but that had to do with donations that people, private donations. People were sending money to this group. This is our tax dollars. And it highlights and underscores the bigger issue, which is kind of what DOJ was brought in to do. And when the administration first started going after USAID and all of the non-governmental organizations and the money train, basically, that was going out of the U.S. taxpayers' pockets and funding all these different groups with very little oversight, I feel like some of the pushback we're seeing is because they don't want this revealed.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree because, as soon as we start turning on the lights, all the cockroaches start scattering. And I think that a lot of the things that was going on at USAID and maybe now on a state level with things like this massive scam in Minnesota, that it's like their private slush fund, and they have all this cash on hand to do with what they will, and so it's going to things like scams like this, and it seems like, I'm not going to say that Republicans are perfect, but it seems like every time you follow the money, the money trail leads back to Democrats. And they just, it's like they don't even try to hide it anymore. You know, they're just kind of out there with it. And I think in this particular incident, I think it's going to be interesting to see, you know, what did Tim Walz know and when did he know it? What do people like Ilhan Omar know about it? You know, like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg of this, and I think it's going to get a whole lot worse. And you know, you got to wonder if you're a resident of Minnesota, if you're a tax-paying resident of Minnesota, you know, don't you have to be pretty ticked off about this? And you know, it'd be interesting to see what happens in the midterm elections next year if they're tired of electing corrupt Democrats, and maybe they'll go a different route.
Becky, is there any reason to believe that this is only limited and isolated to Minnesota? I'm just wondering if you're hearing any rumblings from any other blue states. I would imagine other blue state governors are probably getting a little weak-kneed thinking about, oh my goodness, what? Because look, Becky, we flooded the nation with trillions of dollars of COVID era cash. And we've heard about, you know, a little scandal here and a little scandal there. This one seems to have blown the doors off. And I'm just wondering if there might be other blue states that might end up under the microscope as well.
Yeah, I think you're right, Tim. I can't believe that maybe some blue state governors like J.B. Pritzker and, you know, in the surrounding areas are getting a little sweaty because, yeah, like you said,
I think he's always sweaty.
The estimates, well, yeah, especially when he sees the buffet, that probably gets him sweaty. But, you know, we flooded. What are the estimates of illegal immigrants? I've heard anywhere between 10 to 20 million illegal immigrants. I think it's closer to 20 million. And not all of these people are just coming here to be housekeepers and make a better life for themselves and their families. They're coming here with nefarious purposes. So yeah, I think it's entirely possible that you will see more, you know, massive scams like this going on in other blue states. You know, I think the sky's the limit for Democrats. I don't think anything's ever off the table for them. If they can find a way to make a little money and off the taxpayers, then I think they're going to do it. Yeah, I think there's a very good possibility of it.
Becky, if listeners want to find out more about this story and your work, where's the best place for them to check you out?
Well, of course, they can go to redstate.com. And I always want to give a shout out to all of my amazing coworkers. We have the best writers in the whole world, and I'm not biased, but they make me want to be better every day. So shout out to everybody at Red State. You guys are the best. And you can find me at gumshoepolitics.substack.com.
Thanks, Becky. Appreciate you joining us.
Thanks so much, Susie. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay. Is it time to bring back public shaming? We'll discuss coming up next.
Just one page, of course I am excited. Tonight's the night I've set my mind not to do too much about it.
Renewal by Anderson asking, are you still battling cold drafts? Windows icing up again? Utility costs surging? You're worried about paying more every month? The truth is, you may already be paying for new windows and money lost to energy escaping your home. And here's the thing, you don't want to do this project twice. Renewal by Anderson spends every day replacing bad technology, poor installation of windows and doors that simply don't stand the test of time. But you can afford the best. America's most trusted window replacement company, Anderson. Call 877-WINDOWS or visit rbastl.com. Learn about our December savings event right now. 877-WINDOWS, rbastl.com. Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a two-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
Looking for the best selection of firearms in the St. Louis region? Drive to Osage County Guns. Conveniently located off I-70, just 25 minutes from St. Charles. We've got thousands of guns in stock, the largest selection of handguns, rifles, and shotguns around. Trade in or sell your old guns for cash and shop our wide variety of premium Winchester ammunition made right here in the USA. Visit us online at ocgmo.com, or better yet, make the drive to Osage County Guns and see why we're the St. Louis region's favorite.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away.
Hey guys, Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. Hope you had enough time to freshen up your coffee, because now we're back with Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Welcome back to the Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Jerome had to do it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had to wham us.
I will take it.
Your very good friend, Mike Franco, likes to drive with his daughter to school, and they make these requests. So this is not me. This is her request, and I will not tolerate anybody bad-mouthing it, okay?
Except I'm taking away his man card.
Oh.
Can I tell you that maybe I kind of like this song?
This
You know,
song?
I know people try to avoid it. There's actually a game out there during the
Mhm.
Christmas season where you try to avoid getting whammed for Christmas. And it's this song. How do you do that though? Like if it starts playing, do you run out of the room?
I don't
I'm not
know.
sure what you
could,
do.
like, run
Change
your
the
car off the
channel.
road. I don't
Run your
know.
car off the road, slam into a brick wall. Don't do any of these things.
Don't do that.
This morning or any morning. Yeah, this is not okay. This is kind of one of those love-hate songs where maybe if you hear it too much, it gets to be a
Yes.
little incessant. But there's others that are much, much worse. And I know Tony Colombo was talking about that this week with Skip Weber and Mark Close on Close's Cabinet.
Yeah.
The one that I think is completely silly and ridiculous is the Paul McCartney song where he's just singing Simply having a wonderful. It's like
Yeah,
like
it's
Wonderful
kinda
Christmas
goofy.
Time.
Wonderful Christmas Time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna take the word Christmas. I'm gonna put a stupid jingle around it, and I'm gonna make it a song.
Ding
Right.
dong.
Right.
Okay, you should feel very fortunate that you're here on Flashback Friday, where I keep the music to the 80s, because once I unleash the floodgates, and we're going to hit my card with it all next week.
Oh, we need to.
Every song ever is up for grabs. So,
Okay.
So you
All right.
avoided the mainstays of the.
Yeah.
You can put up with a little wham. Come
Yeah, and I can, I actually was I actually appreciated George Michael's talent. He had an amazing voice. I love good us being in the audio world. I appreciate good voices, whether they're speaking or singing. And the two most powerful male voices that come to mind for me always are George Michael and Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am so sad. I was so sad. And I remain sad. I remain melancholy to this day that Chris Cornell left us before his time. That guy has pipes like no one else in the male side of the singing world. And his version of Ave Maria, which I think is on the second very special Christmas album, is unbelievable.
I'll have to go
It
listen
is
to that.
angelic. It is unbelievable. And in the female realm, and my wife makes fun of me all the time for my infatuation with her, but I think, and Jamie Allman started this years ago when he was back doing the morning show on the other station, he would do an Oh Holy Night Off.
Oh, which is my favorite song.
Do you remember when he did that?
Yeah,
So he would do
yeah.
he would do the Oh Holy Night. He's going to do it, I think. I don't know if he did it. I think he's doing it next week, he said. So Jamie's going to do the Oh Holy Night Off. And that may have been where I first heard this version. And I've loved it ever since, because it almost seriously brings me to emotion because of the way she hits the highest notes. There's a crescendo about 3/4 of the way through the song. And Celine Dion hits those notes like no one ever else. It's angelic on earth in my mind.
I'm not going to argue that. I think she has a beautiful voice, and that's my all-time favorite Christmas song. So
And Sarah Brightman maybe is a close second. She's pretty awesome
So
too.
we could have just done top Christmas songs for this.
Well, I was going to say, this is the exact opposite of public shaming. You're actually doing
Right.
public praising.
I'm trying after I just trashed Paul McCartney and his stupid Christmas song.
So I ran across this article that talked about should we bring back public shaming, which
Yes.
is not to be confused with canceling, because there's that's two different things. This is
Are we going to
just
use
calling
stocks? We can use stocks.
calling people out for
Yeah.
their boorish behavior, and
I
it's
love it.
actually got 43 items on this list, which obviously we're not going to go through.
43 items of
43 items on this list, but a couple of these really stood out to me, including like a woman who called an animal clinic, a grooming place, or a boarding place at the last minute and said she needed to get her animal in, or she needed to get in for vaccines so she could take her animal to the boarding place because she was leaving for her vacation the next day.
Okay.
And they're like, well, we don't have any openings until next week. And she's screaming and she's like, well, I'm just going to come over there I'm bringing my animal to get their vaccines. They're like, we don't have an opening for you. Then she asked, they offered to put her on a wait list. And she said, why don't you give me the name of the person that has the next appointment and I will contact them myself and see about
What?
Yeah. See if I can get them to bump their, and they're like, no, we're not going to do that.
What's wrong with people?
Well, the person telling the story says, I'm pretty sure her name was Karen. So, dude, yes, that's the kind of thing that should invite public shaming. Should she lose her job and her livelihood? No, but she should be embarrassed for behaving like that.
While she's trying to get out of town to go to the Caymans.
Right. Here's another one. This person says, I showed up at 7:00 on Christmas Eve to try and get a small plant and the gates were locked and no one was there. Their hours say they're supposed to be open until 3 a.m. And the response from the business was, man, we close at 3 p.m. on Christmas Eve. It's actually on our website.
Why would you even think about going somewhere at 7 p.m. on Christmas Eve? First of all, you should be in church or doing something with your family.
Right.
And second of all, your shopping should be done long before then, like 7 hours before that.
At least.
Yes.
These people can vote.
Yes, they can.
Let that sink in. If nothing else, we need to shame them. So we let them know we all are aware of what you are and who you are, and you need to stay home on election day.
So I think that is one of the positives of social media, is because it can be an effective tool for public shaming. It's the digital equivalent of the stocks. Again, I don't agree necessarily with cancellation, unless you're talking about like really, really egregious behavior. But I don't agree with running people out of their jobs, that sort of thing. But when they behave like this, and there are so many people who have this entitled mentality, and they just think that they can run roughshod over people.
You got
that are
another good
waiting
one?
on them.
You got one more good one?
Well, yeah, this person went to, I think it's the Sistine Chapel, and then it's the Basilica, St. Peter's Basilica. It says, do not wear a short skirt and tank top to St. Peter's Basilica unless you want to get aggressively stared up and down and side-eyed by every nun, priest, and old Italian lady there. Well, yeah.
Why do you think the priests and the nuns and the Italian ladies are there to begin with? It's not for you to be a thirst trap online. It's because they actually believe in what the Sistine Chapel is meant for.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So that's exactly what social media is good for, is someone exposing either somebody else or themselves to be like for being ridiculous, obnoxious Karens or whatever, and being called out for it.
Now, is there a way that we can make this like a citizen's arrest type thing? And then we put them in the
Citizen's
stocks.
arrest, citizen's arrest.
Like they were being obnoxious in public and we're done with it. So get the stocks out. Or I am partial towards hard and feathering. But we get together, and if enough people get together and say, look, you were a public nuisance and we're going to basically make sure this doesn't happen again, then you just get away with it because enough of you were like, okay, that's not okay.
A little public flogging.
Yeah, just a little, just a
tiny
little
bit.
Yeah, like we don't have to like exile them on a raft, but
I think I'm in favor of this new this way. I think I'm in favor of bringing back public shaming, not to the level of cancellation, if that makes sense.
because cancellation is more malicious, and there are people that go out of the way because you offend them and they want to affect your livelihood, your ability to provide. No, this is more so like we don't do that, and we're not going to tolerate you doing that because this is our community, and you don't get to be.
You should be exposed, but not canceled.
Absolutely.
Yes. There you go.
Shame is a good thing. It's actually a healthy thing. You should have a decent amount of it, and you should be made to feel it if you're acting like an idiot.
Indeed.
Jamie Allman here, tossing and turning over retirement worries. You're not alone. 3 out of 4 Americans share your concern about having enough saved. But here's the thing. A comfortable retirement isn't out of reach, even if you're planning for 30 or 40 years ahead. Every day, Jeff Portman from the Gemini Wealth Group helps people avoid the critical mistakes that can derail their retirement. Build your path to financial confidence. Visit GeminiWealthGroup.com or call Jeff directly at 314-888-0123.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine in or carry out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Louis Gohmert, he's a former congressman.
Bob Gibson.
Oh, yeah.
Pitching for the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. And so I snuck my transistor radio in my shirt and had the little earpiece into my ear and tried to keep my head turned where the teacher wouldn't see, but was listening to the World Series in class.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. The Trump administration is defending the seizure of an oil tanker off Venezuela, despite dictator Nicolas Maduro's protests and criticism from Democrats here at home.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem told the House panel the purpose was
to ensure that we're pushing back on a regime that is systematically covering and flooding our country with deadly drugs and killing our next generation of Americans.
At the White House, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt added,
"We're not going to stand by and watch sanctioned vessels sail the seas with black market oil, the proceeds of which will fuel narco-terrorism of rogue and illegitimate regimes around the world."
Senator Chris Van Hollen, Democrat from Maryland.
The real goal here is clearly regime change in Venezuela and accomplishing regime change by force.
Ben Thomas, Washington.
Homes have been washed away, roads and bridges heavily damaged, and there have been many high water rescues in the flooded Pacific Northwest, including in Washington State.
In Sumas, near the U.S.-Canadian border.
Let me know you want me to hold. You can hold. I got him at the door.
The U.S. Coast Guard video shows flood victims lifted up into a rescue helicopter nearly 73 miles south in Concrete, Washington.
Looks like we now have a houseboat.
Mariah Brosa assesses the damage to her home.
About 6 feet of water underneath my house, maybe 7.
Floods are impacting a large part of the state, and Governor Bob Ferguson is calling it a historic situation. I'm Donna Warder.
A federal judge is blocking immigration authorities from detaining Kilmar Abrego Garcia again. This case plays out in the courts. President Trump signing an executive order. It blocks individual states from regulating artificial intelligence. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 104 points, the NASDAQ down 110. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Cold comes swiftly to Ukraine, and for elderly Jews like Olga, it can be deadly. She's 79 years old. She lives in a small village where there is no indoor plumbing, no bathroom, or reliable access to heating. And each day, she has to pump water from a well, even in sub-zero temperatures. To use the restroom, she has to walk through the bitter cold to reach an outhouse. Her meager pension is not enough to cover food, medicine, and heat. Poverty threatens to consume her life. But when all seems lost, Olga received a nourishing food box, emergency lighting, and a warm blanket. You know, this aid is a life-saving gift for someone like Olga. The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews and that staff, they lifted her spirits and they reminded her she's not forgotten. Today, thousands of elderly Jews across Ukraine and the former Soviet Union face similar struggles. Their homes are fragile against the cold, their resources are scarce, and their health is fragile too. For them, winter is not just a season, but a fight for survival. Learn more at urgentifcj.org. That's one word, urgentifcj.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a mostly cloudy day, highs into the upper 30s. The big news is the first alert weather day as we head off into Saturday. During the morning hours, we'll start to see the possibility of some light snow. It'll be scattered across the metro and even higher totals expected towards the northeast. You want to see accumulations on the ground potentially. Then we look off into late Saturday night, Sunday morning temperatures back towards the 0 degree mark in some areas. Going to be dangerously cold across the area. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Looking for treasures from the past? Discover Mimi's Antiques Attic, your locally owned and family-operated treasure hunt destination. Explore 16,000 square feet of antiques, crafts, collectibles, and designer items across 225 unique rental spaces. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 7, and Sundays, 10 to 6, at 1000 Warrenton Shops in Warrenton. Mimi's Antiques Attic, where every visit uncovers new treasures.
Are you searching for an excellent new vehicle or a great deal on a used one? Then check out Tyler Trineri, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Tim Jones here to tell you what loyal Tyler Trineri customers already know. Every new vehicle and select used ones come with an exclusive lifetime warranty. And Tyler Trineri has a service department second to none. I should know. I've been a loyal and happy customer for years. For the best price, selection, and the amazing lifetime warranty, check out Tyler Trineri today, right off Interstate 44 in beautiful Pacific, Missouri. Online at tylertrineri.com, tylertrineri.com.
Mike Ferguson.
Big guy, one of the biggest in the world.
Susie Moore.
Do you think he's ready?
He's not ready.
Get
up! Get up! In case you hear the alarm. Get up, St. Louis.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
Good morning this morning, as my good friend Jamie Allman would always say on the Allman in the Morning Show back in the day. I'm Tim Jones, former speaker of your Missouri House, afternoon drive show co-host here at News Talk STL, 1019, 94.1 News Talk STL. Thanks for getting up early with us. Thanks for me for getting up early with us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Tim.
I used to do this back in the day, Jerome, quite a bit. I cut my teeth on morning radio. That doesn't mean I love it. I like getting, okay, here's the deal. I like getting up early in the morning so I don't feel like I waste the day. I don't like being wide awake, bushy-tailed, and necessarily having to talk for 3 or 4 hours on the radio, but I have done it a million times now in my lifetime.
Yeah, it is definitely a bit of an adjustment because when you wake up and you get here, it's actually dark, and then the day starts to progress, but then you start getting tired again. And then with your show, it's daylight out, and then you start to leave the studio and it's pitch black.
Yeah. So, and if you're going to have that kind of a schedule, you got to get a nap sometime during the day. I'm just saying, you can't just, certain people, like, I don't know, it seems like the president operate on 18-hour days and 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I'm not one of those people. I have to get 6-7 hours ish, or I'm cranky and tired. And although I love the prospect of getting up early and seizing the day and all that, this is sometimes stupid uber early, because you're getting up at, like, in my case, and I cut it kind of close. I'm getting up at like 4:30, 4:45, and then sliding in here right at 6 o'clock, for 6:05 for the first break. But great to be here with everyone, and make sure you listen to us throughout the day. We have, in case you didn't know, we have 6 live and local shows that cover everything from the international to the hyperlocal, and we do it every single day like no one else. No one else is doing this. And that's why when we say we're number one for live and local conservative talk, that's not just a tagline or a motto. It's absolutely factually true. I don't know of any other radio station in the St. Louis region, or even in Missouri writ large, or maybe even in the country, that still has the ability to do 6 live and locally produced talk shows that have a wide variety of hosts, a wide variety of producers, all different shapes, size, colors, creeds, codes. We all have different philosophies. We all have different, we're all generally on the center right side of the political spectrum, but we all have different personalities. We all have different philosophies. All the shows, I think, are very fun because they are very different. And that's the spice of life, right, my people? So listen to us throughout the day.
Yeah, there's not very many places where you get a story, but you can get so many different perspectives of that story and so much expertise in different fields related to how to interpret what's going on in the world. Because I hear when I'm doing my sources, it seems like you get one good talking point and then everybody just says the same thing. And that's not how it is here.
Right. We like to analyze it from about 1,000 different angles. We're going to, speaking of a guy who analyzes things from 1,000 different angles, we're going to speak to the one and only wild man, Nate Lucas, the communications director for my very good friend. And I say that in all sincerity and honesty. I've known Eric Burleson forever. I was his majority leader and speaker back in my house days. He still affectionately refers to me as Mr. Speaker, which is oh so kind of him because I get called a lot of other things from other people, Jerome, that I can't pronounce on the air. But that just means, Jerome, I'm over the target, right?
Oh, yeah. If you're not ruffling the feathers of the wrong people, you're not doing the right things, right?
Indeed. Nate Lucas coming up around 8:20 this morning. And until we get to him, there's some interesting sound that I had Jerome pull, kind of giving you some of the highlights of the week. We always think the news is going to slow down at this point in time. And there is a little sense, I think, Jerome, of a little bit of, look, people are running around like crazy nuttiness, trying to get all the gifts and the packaging and all that. Remember, folks, also to prepare for the reason for the season, right? So in the Catholic faith, in the Christian faith writ large, but I think Catholics really focus in on this more than anyone. We are in the season of what's called Advent. That's something you don't hear running 24/7 on the commercials on the boob tube. So my grandpa used to call the TV. He'd be like, "It's a boob tube," not because there was any naked ladies or anything on there, but we used to call the TV the tube. So he'd be like, "The boob tube, just sit there and just stare at it." So how did I get off on that tangent? But this is the season of Advent, right? And it's the 4 weeks after Thanksgiving before Christmas. And if you go to church, especially in a Catholic church, this time of year, we have we call it something called an Advent wreath. And it's got 4 candles on it. 3 of them are purple, deep purple, like the band, and then one's pink. And so this week is the 3rd week of Advent already, Jerome. It's almost here. And this weekend we'll light the pink candle. And the reason they put the pink candle 3rd, not 4th, is it's kind of like, all right, for all you people who haven't been paying attention, heads up, different candle, 3rd week. Hello, kind of like to point out, we're almost to Christmas. Are you ready? Not have you bought all the gifts and wrapped everything and visited Amazon or eBay 5 million times, but have you prepared yourself, your heart, your soul, your mind, your family for the coming of the Christ child, which is the whole point of this whole thing. It's a holiday, but holiday was created out of the words holy day. And so what is the holiday? What is the holy day that we are commemorating? It's Christmas. And for those brothers and sisters in the Jewish faith, it's also Hanukkah. Hanukkah begins this Sunday, December 14th at sundown.
Wow.
8 crazy nights, as Adam Sandler says. Have you heard that song?
No, but I've seen the movie that he did, the animated one, and I every time I get to the seasons, I'll watch it again, and it's still as funny as it was when I was a kid.
I hope you have plans to play the Hanukkah song next week.
Oh,
sometime in the morning.
That would be a good idea.
You really should. Put on your yarmulke. It's time to celebrate Hanukkah. It's one of the most famous songs that Adam Sandler ever made, and it's an absolute Christmas classic now, even though it's about Hanukkah.
Well, see, and I grew up during the age of when Adam Sandler was transitioning into those children's focused movies. So that's really what I'm more familiar with. I didn't even know he had a musical career.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Until I was already an adult, because I had seen The Wedding Singer when he's playing the down on his luck guy, and then my friend was like, "Oh yeah, and if you like what you saw in the movie, he has an entire album. Like Adam Sandler has." The guy from Jack and Jill,
yes,
has an album. So I looked back, I'm like, wow, no wonder I didn't know about this growing up.
He's fantastically talented. So this week, Donald Trump did something that he has needed to do, that many of us believe he needs to do. And I think this was part of the plan. This year, he wanted to focus on the international, right? Mm-hmm. Next year, and look, everybody plays politics when they're doing public policy. It's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes it's aggravating, sometimes it's annoying, sometimes it's necessary. But next year, he is, I believe, going to hyper-focus on the economy. I don't think he's been neglecting the economy. I think the pieces have been put into place this year. And next year, because we have such short political memories, you can't crescendo too early in politics or people forget about it. I think next year, because the pieces that have been in place this year with the one big beautiful bill and the tax cuts and everything Scott Bessent is doing, I think next year we're going to have a roaring economy, and that's going to help blunt what usually happens in midterms. The political party in power gets tossed out on their bumpkins. That may or may not happen next year if the economy is roaring, because, Jerome, everybody's going to be thinking about what? Themselves, their family, and their pocketbooks, as they rightfully should when they go to the ballot box.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of issues that we had to be corrected for us to be able to actually
the world was on fire.
Yes, we skidded by the Biden administration by the seat of our pants, and I don't think enough people realize that. So when they're sitting here, they're questioning a lot of the decisions economically, and they're not seeing the magnificent sudden reversal to pre-COVID pricing. I think they forget you cannot undo 4 years of dumpster fire with a squirt gun within the first year.
Biden unleashed unholy hell at home and abroad. Mm-hmm. At home and abroad. And the media, only because the media didn't properly report all those catastrophes, do people not know the extent and severity of it. But he literally was trying to implode the United States of America from the inside out. And he was causing catastrophe on the world stage because America did not have a mighty hand.
Yeah, I mean, it was Putin himself who said that if President Trump had been reelected, he would not have gone after Ukraine.
Proving the point.
How many other issues out there that we're dealing with that we have to address for our own national safety and security could have been completely avoided had the wrong person not gotten in office in 2020.
Indeed. Speaking of those pocketbook issues, and I'm going to have you play number 4 here, Jerome. President Trump doing what many have been advocating for him to do, going out back into the heartland, the all-important, crazy Keystone state of Pennsylvania. Donald Trump there this week doing one of those famous Trumpian rallies that could help inspire the base to actually go vote. Come on, people. You can't just vote in presidential elections if you care about this country. You got to vote in the midterms. President Trump in Pennsylvania this week discussing what has been done for blue-collar, average, everyday, hardworking Americans in the first year of his administration.
But under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000 a year. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has already seen their wages increase by more than $1,300, and that's in just a few months. And for construction workers, it's $1,800 up versus $3,500 down, and I think their number is wrong. It's much lower than that. For miners, do we love miners? I love miners. I don't know how they do it, going 10,000 feet under the ground, and they wouldn't trade jobs with me. If I gave them a beautiful, magnificent penthouse in the middle of Manhattan, where I used to live, if I gave them the most beautiful penthouse, they wouldn't take it. They'd rather go 10,000 feet underground and dig. That's what they want. For miners, their wages went up $3,300.
Holy smokes. I mean, and that's what people love about Trump is instead of just continuing his laundry list of worker classifications and talking about how their wages go up, he starts telling this whole random story about miners. Boy, do we love the miners. The miners are the best. Boy, those miners are great people. And to kind of prove the point of how the narrative is shifting and people are now starting to talk about the Trump effect in Trump 2.0, CNN itself in absolute awe about what's happened to fuel prices over the last year.
4.5-year low, 3.5-year low of $2.95 a gallon as of today. That is miles away from the all-time high set back in 2022 under former President Biden, above $5 a gallon. And it is lower, although only a little bit lower than at this point last year.
So we go from historic highs to record lows in a very short, brief period of time. And even CNN, Jerome, is finally taking notice that maybe left-wing liberal policies are not good for the economy and more conservative free market policies are.
Yeah, when CNN and NNN has to praise President Trump, you know something right's going on.
Indeed. We're going to have a big fan of the president up next. He's the one and only wild man, Nate Lucas. He is the communications director for our good friend, Congressman Eric Burlison. We're going to speak to Nate about all the nonstop insanity occurring in the deep swamp. Next on the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show, Tim Jones in the Big Chair, 1019, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Stop right now before you blow us all away.
Hi, it's Ken Williams, and my favorite Capriati sandwich is the Cap Pastrami. You've got hot pastrami, melty Swiss cheese, crunchy coleslaw, and zesty Russian dressing. What else do you need? I love Capriati's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Winter's coming fast. Is your furnace ready? Johnson Heating and Cooling is here to help. Get our complete furnace checkup for just $99. We'll check for gas leaks, inspect electrical connections, and examine your flue to keep your family safe and warm. We service all brands of equipment, and we're fully licensed and insured. From furnace maintenance to air conditioning service, new installations to repairs. Call 636-332-4141 or visit johnson-heatingandcooling.com.
Tom Shaw Realtors representing the sale and development of more than 150,000 acres. Selling, buying. Call Tom, 636-432-1922. Ask about hunting leases, shawrealtors.com.
Hey there, Chris Cooper of Serenity Wealth Management. Join us this Sunday right here on News Talk STL for Serenity Wealth Now Radio. This week, we're featuring special guest Jonathan Heslop of the Rockwood Charcoal Company. He's no stranger to News Talk STL, and we're going to find out why it's okay to be on the naughty list and get some charcoal in your stocking. Tune in right here, News Talk STL, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. or on Serenity Wealth Now social media outlets.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper, Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Number one for live and local
conservative talk.
You can take these facts. I know for a fact. It's just about time. It's not now. When?
Oh, there's just so much to say and not enough time to say it or do it.
I'm sorry. This is our country. This is the country that you and I love.
I'm kind of not surprised.
Man, that's what they need.
Very upset.
A lot of fear.
I agree with that, and well, who couldn't agree with it? It's a fact.
1019 and 94.1.
St. Louis is number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
We'll prevail.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
And listen anytime, anywhere. The 80s.
Excellent.
Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Come, they told me, ba-ra-ba-bum-bum. A newborn king to see, ba-ra-ba-bum-bum. Our finest gifts we bring, ba-ra-ba-bum-bum. Too late before the king, ba-ra-ba-bum-bum.
But the affordability issue is from the 22% increase in prices in inflation under Biden. There's just full stop right there. That's the affordability issue. And you ought to be able to explain that better.
Right. That's right. And look, I think that with the economic team, President Trump and the economic team led by Scott Bessent, you have people who very much understand this. And it was they were thrown, what I would say, the worst economy for the average American in my adult lifetime, in terms of like you said, the incredible increase in prices at the household.
Oh, amazing. CNBC, not Fox News, not OAN, not Newsmax, CNBC and NBC production putting all the blame where it is most deserved. And that's on the previous administration, not the current one, as to all these now catchy buzzwords that the media is happy to utilize. We got a guy who's an expert in this realm and all others. He is the communications director. We in the business call him a comms director. Nate Lucas with our good friend Congressman Eric Burleson. Right, Nate? That's really catchy and cool, isn't it? Comms director.
It is,
yeah.
Or if you want to be really trendy,
Yeah.
CD,
Oh,
CD
you're
for Rep Eric Burleson.
the CD. As if Nate, nobody could figure that out, right? It's like, it's like
right.
inside baseball. Yeah.
How
man.
are you, Tim?
I'm
What's
doing
going on?
great. Nate, it's always great to talk to you. Nate, you're going to be gracing our airwaves, I think, a little bit during the holiday season when you're home for the holidays, right?
Yeah, look out. I should probably lawyer up, or maybe the station should lawyer up, because Lord knows when they hand me the reins for 3 hours, chaos will ensue. That is the only guarantee I provide.
Hide the women and secure the jewels, right? So to speak.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, man. Nate, I mean, how great is it, Nate, that some of these left-leaning networks, we may not ever hear a truth bomb like that on MS Now or Now or Never, whatever they're calling it now. But if an NBC production can start, discussing where actually all the disastrous blame should be handled, then maybe there's hope for CNN and some of the others. Pointing out, Nate, that this new buzzword that's been created about something that's existed for years, it has nothing to do with the current administration.
Well, I think that's a great point. And absolutely. I mean, when you go back and look at the coverage of the Biden administration, like where were the buzzwords then? I mean, it was their runaway spending that led us to inflationary prices, percentage up to 9%. And I love what Caroline Levitt said yesterday. I think it was to Caitlin Collins in the press briefing room, where she was like, you all sat here and listened to her predecessor, Karine Jean-Pierre,
the crazy French lady,
about. Yeah, exactly. I mean, she blatantly lied to them, and like the good lapdogs they are, they took the rhetoric and propaganda and weaponized it, and then took it to the American people and caused more cultural divide amongst the left and the right than was knowingly possible, at least in my lifetime. So they are the great dividers, and really they're so pathetic. They're not very smart people, and yet they run around thinking that they are, and now they're getting told truth. And at least, on CNBC, it's refreshing to hear them speak the truth about it.
Nate, have you ever seen a White House press secretary so perfectly channel her boss other than Carolyn Levitt? I mean, the evisceration that she delivers to the stupid sycophants in the mainstream media is really astounding to watch every day.
I agree. She's really impressive, and I don't even know if she's 30 years old, but she clearly does her preparation. She comes ready. And what I like is, remember, they all have binders with notes, but it doesn't seem like she's reading. It seems like she truly understands what she's discussing, and I think that's a testament to how dedicated she is to the job. So I give her a lot of props for that.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of processing going on in her brain versus what was not in Corinne Jean-Pierre's, for sure.
Yeah.
Nate, we had this big, it's so funny listening to the media, the left-wing media, which is most of them, unfortunately, the media and the other sycophants, like wringing their hands about the fact that, oh my goodness, there's now going to be, in addition to the affordability crisis, Nate, that the Democrats and the left and their willing media allies constructed, we're now going to have a healthcare crisis. Once again, Nate, because of the Democrats and the failure of something that they created, Obamacare, in the first place.
Well, this is such a joke. They, shut down the government for 43 days and used this argument that Republicans wouldn't come to the negotiating table over healthcare. And I guess they just get away with it because the media covers their ass. But the reality is that they built the system that is now facing Americans on the individual market, at least, with soaring premiums and extremely high deductibles and terrible care. So they built the framework of what we're currently enduring as the disaster. And what the big argument is about the COVID enhanced subsidies. So Obamacare as a standalone product is already heavily subsidized by the federal government. The subsidies that are set to expire at the end of the year are COVID era enhanced subsidies. So as far as I'm concerned, COVID is long gone, and so should these subsidies. And it's a joke that they're making this big whirlwind about COVID era subsidies. And the problem, government loves to just throw more money at a broken system. And that is not the solution for this. The solution is a free market, open, competitive market where you can have all of these agencies competing for the demand that's out there. We have a lack of supply. And so when you load the system with more supply and you allow easier pathways and residency slots and you allow telehealth medicine across state lines, those are real solutions that provide the additional supply necessary for the demand that's been created under the reckless Obamacare.
And your boss, Congressman Eric Burlison, came out with a great free market idea this week regarding healthcare. And I love all the components of it that I've been able to read about. And this is something I think that the American people want as well. Nate, I saw a poll yesterday, a national poll that was commissioned where it was like an 80% issue. Americans would rather have more control of their healthcare decision-making, whether it has to do with the caregivers or whether it has to do with the insurance companies, whatever it might be, versus having the government dictate everything. So I think Eric's onto something. What say you?
Absolutely. I think you're spot on. There are, a lot of cooks in the kitchen right now in Congress that are presenting various plans, and a lot of them, I think, all have a common denominator, and that is just a free market solution. But Eric's particular plan about, MAHA, where you would have basically a health savings account that's on steroids, and it would be seeded, and you could, put up to $25,000 for an individual, $50,000 for a couple. And then you would get paid that money, and then you choose where to spend that money. And that is unlike what we have right now, where the federal government, the Treasury Department, literally just injects direct deposits, cash, into the insurance agencies, into the companies. And that system is what has made the prices stay as high as they are, because what is the incentive for the insurers to drive down the cost if they know they're just getting direct deposits from the Treasury Department. If people could actually choose where that money was going, that would draw competitive rates, and then you'd see healthcare prices drastically fall, in my opinion.
Amen. One other thing I want to talk about regarding the Congressman Eric Burleson. By the way, folks, speaking to Nate Lucas, Communications Director for Congressman Eric Burleson. I saw, Nate, a press release of your alls that you sent out this week. Maybe it was yesterday, last 20. Time flies when you're having fun, Nate. Didn't the Congressman have a key component of his legislative agenda pass the House in a particular bill this week?
He did. So he sits on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, and one of the subcommittees, which is chaired by Mike Collins out of Georgia. It's really encompassing all about regulations. And right now in America, it's like impossible to build. Anybody who has put an addition on their house, or maybe they've built a new house or whatever, they're building a new business from the ground up. The regulations that they get slapped with truly just delay. And one of the core principles of the Trump agenda is America's going to build again.
Yep.
And in order to build, you have to get rid of the red tape that the federal government has slapped on everybody, because that's what Democrats like to do. They like to put you on a leash and then control you, and then wag their hand in your face and tell you, nope, you can't do that. Nope, you can't. They're a bunch of Karens, Tim. And so what this large bill does is say, sit down, Karen, get out of the way. America is building again. And that's precisely his component in this bill. You have these environmental, really activists, and they're total clowns. And what they do is they find one little loophole in any piece of the law or rule book that they can, and they go after these projects that they've already been approved, and then they go in and they delay the construction of the projects so that they can litigate it through environmental regulations. And it's just ridiculous. So they put brakes on our economy and our ability to build. And I think most Americans want the federal government to get the hell out of the way and for these Karens to sit down so we can build again.
Could not agree with you more. Fewer Karens, more free market. Well, huge kudos and congrats to Congressman Eric Burleson on that. Nate, before we let you go, one final question, not political related, but sports related, because you're our sports guy who doesn't do sports. Nate, I know you're a hometown guy at heart. I know you're going to be coming back here to St. Louis real soon. You've probably been looking at one eye at the Blues. Nate, what is wrong with the Blue Note this year? Last year they were supposed to have a really horrible season, and they ended up doing okay and making the playoffs. They went out, and I think in the first or second round. This year, they're 22 points behind the first place Avalanche already in the Central Division. They're 11-14-7. What's happening, Nate? Is it defense? Is it offense? Is it both? Is it coaching? Do tell me.
So this is my perspective. The last year, they really struggled offensively. They just could not score. But they were bailed out because they had a goaltending tandem between Jordan Binnington and Joel Hofer that were just remarkable. They kept them in games, and they competed in the way in the NHL. If you can fight for 3 periods and your goaltender can give you a chance, like you're probably gonna sneak into the playoffs like they were able to. And then they did not win the series, but they blew it against Winnipeg. But they took them to a game 7. And that was the top team in the NHL or the Western Conference last year. This year, Tim, they're not scoring and they're not getting good goaltending. So that's a really bad tandem. And when you go into the first intermission and you're down by several goals, it's just demoralizing. And so they've got to, there's been some talk that maybe they're going to unload some key pieces right now that would be good marketplace items for teams that are more in the playoff hunt. But it's early enough to where if they could get this train back on the tracks, I think they could salvage the season. But they put themselves in a pretty significant hole. I do not like, this talk about anybody saying that it's a coaching issue or blaming any of this on Jim Montgomery is just a Looney Tune that should not be discussing the sport of hockey. Jim Montgomery is a terrific coach. It was a blessing that the Bruins fired him and the Blues were able to bring him in. I still think it was a mistake to fire Craig Berube when they did. But having a guy like Jim Montgomery is the perfect lieutenant that you want to lead this team back to its winning ways. And they'll get there. they got to get past
Yes.
whatever's going on. I truly think they gave one of their young players, Jordan Cairo, a huge, massive contract before he deserved it. He's making $10 million a year,
Whoa.
and they've got to get more production out of him. Yeah.
Yeah, truly indeed. Yeah, Nick. Well, Nate, the Stanley Cup season showed us that hope springs eternal. So we'll keep hope alive because we got a long way to go. Nate Lucas, communications director for Congressman Eric Burleson. Nate, thanks for everything. We're looking very much forward to seeing you here on the home front at News Talk STL. Merry Christmas, Nate, to you and your family. Can't wait to see you here back on in the homeland. Merry
Christmas, Tim. You don't know how many your name pops up more in this town of Washington, D.C. than anyone would ever expect. It's you're a well-known commodity up here.
Wanted ads and milk cartons, Nate. Wanted ad milk cartons. Yeah.
Right.
Indeed.
Always a pleasure. Merry Christmas, Tim.
Thanks, Nate. We'll talk to you again soon. My good buddy there, Nate Lucas, working for Congressman Eric Burleson, 8:34 in the AM. When we come back, Jerome, what do we need to get into next? Oh, I got this other clip from CNN. They visited Hillbilly Low Country down in Louisiana.
What?
Down on the Bayou, and you're not going to believe what they heard. Probably made their heads explode. That's up next on Mike Ferguson in the Morning. Tim Jones in for the one and only Mike. 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Chance Koch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking a mostly cloudy day, highs into the upper 30s. The big news is the first alert weather day as we head off into Saturday. During the morning hours, we'll start to see the possibility of some light snow. It'll be scattered across the metro and even higher totals expected towards the northeast. You want to see accumulations on the ground potentially. Then we look off into late Saturday night, Sunday morning temperatures back towards the 0 degree mark in some areas. Going to be dangerously cold across the area. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Koch.
Fox News commentary with Joe Concha. Next.
2025 is wrapping up, and here's the truth. Uncertainty isn't going anywhere. Noble Gold Investments help you protect what you've built with real gold and silver, stuff that holds value when everything else is melting down. This holiday season, the best gift you can give your family? Peace of mind. Don't wait for the next crash to blindside you. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com and get started today. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Don't leave the future to chance. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Here's Joe Concha.
Well, whether it's John Cornyn or Ken Paxton or Wesley Hunt, as far as who her opponent will be, Jasmine Crockett appears to be the next Democratic nominee for the Senate in the Lone Star State. Either way, no matter who her opponent is on the GOP side, you're looking at anywhere from a 10 to 15, even more point victory for the GOP down in Texas. This is a cartoon character who is mocked as an example, the sitting governor of Texas, who is paralyzed from the waist down, calling him Governor Hot Wheels. She has openly wished for Elon Musk to be, quote, taken out, and she's called President Trump on numerous occasions a Hitler wannabe. So she's going to run. She will lose. This is an unserious candidate who values attention to herself more than anything else.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michael's Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michael's has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michael's Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Free speech is alive and well in America right here.
It's about time somebody stood up for true American values.
What this country needs is some backbone.
Finally, a president who wants to make real change.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. The 80s. Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
The angel Gabriel from heaven came. His wings as drifted snow, his eyes as flame. Oh, hail, said he, the holy maid of Mary. Most highly favored lady, Gloria. For known a blessed
I like the economy. I love the gas. We have some of the cheapest gas right now with the gas prices coming down lower. It should transfer over to food prices and other items eventually. And I'm loving it.
Since Trump's been in, the gas is going down. Everything's getting better. And he's deporting all these criminals that come over from other countries. I think it's great. I think he ought to run again.
That was CNN there interviewing a couple good old Bayou hillbillies down Louisiana way. And, you know, CNN hates anybody who doesn't sound like them on the L. So they probably can't stand that good old, you know, Bayou low country dialect. But there's a lot of wisdom in them there hills there, Jerome.
Well, nobody actually is as wise as the people that have to work for a living and don't just sit in an ivory tower or in a studio, you know, how smart am I for my thoughts?
These guys actually have to work for a living, and then they have to spend that money to support their families and their businesses. And they're stating facts. Everything they're stating and everything we discussed earlier in this hour about the economy, wages are going up and have gone up for the working class, the class of people that the Democrats say that they electorally own on their little electoral plantation. They don't. And that's one of the reasons why Donald Trump and Republicans did so well in 2024. Now, Republicans can do well in 2026 if they don't sit home and say, well, there's nobody that important for me to vote for, so I'm not going to bother. Every election matters. And if you want Donald Trump to succeed for his next 2 years after 2026, for 27 and 28, then you better get off your butkus and get to your local polling precinct. I don't understand this concept. I guess we're reactionary, Jerome, on the right by nature. I guess we're reactionary by nature, but we need to be proactive and go on the offensive, as Vic and Ken often talk about, if we're going to maintain the fiscal sense and sanity and position that we've regained on the world stage.
I like that idea, being proactionary, not reactionary.
Yes.
Because when you're reacting to something, that means something that could have been working, it was just fine, now is no longer working, and you have to do something. But if you do proactive maintenance, especially when it comes to politics and the economy, then you don't have to react because it just works.
Yeah. And you know, other than the uniparty, Republicans and Democrats, most Republicans, government doesn't come naturally to them, Jerome, because they don't want government to do anything. Yeah. You know, they or definitely the wrong things, right? And you know, we're not anarchists in the Republican Party, but we do believe in the constitutional precepts that made this country great in the beginning and for decades and decades. You know, the problems that we started experiencing in this country that brought us to where we are today are because of the excess government that was put into our federal system by Democrats along the way. We can start with the fateful year of 1913. I think there's no mistake that there's a 13 in there. 1913, when Woodrow Wilson, the epic racist Democrat, look it up, put the first income tax in effect. It was all downhill from there, Jerome.
And the strange thing is that we still had roads. We still had buildings being built. We still had a functioning society before he decided to make that, what I would consider an economically fatal mistake.
Between 1776 Or when George Washington officially took office as first president, what was that, 1780 something or other?
Yeah.
So between the 1780s, you're right, between the 1780s and 1913, we became the world's superpower. We became, without an income tax, we actually became the place that people look to for guidance and for help and for the best poster child for freedom and liberty. We became that. And then we started doing stupid progressive things, regressive things, I think, like instituting a tax on your labor. Ronald Reagan always said, you want less of something, tax more of it.
Yes.
You want less of something, tax more. You want less labor and less productivity, then increase the income tax. And then, so then from 1913, then we go through FDR's New Deal, which was another morass of government bureaucracy and disaster. But at least then Democrats pretended that they were going to give people patronage and money, federal taxpayer money, but you had to work for it. Like FDR's New Deal was at least based around the concept of work. Worker, it wasn't right. It didn't work. In fact, there's a famous quote from Henry Morgenthau, who was FDR's Treasury Secretary, on the failure of the New Deal. And Jerome, I used to literally read this quote during every budget argument on the House floor.
Good.
I was not involved in the budget. I had people for that, because I didn't understand it like others. I knew when to not micromanage something. I knew when to delegate it. But I knew enough about budgetary concepts to know that what Henry Morgenthau said back in 1939 was true here today. Now, remember, this is FDR's guy. This is his Scott Bessent, okay? This would be like Scott Bessent, and he wouldn't last much longer after this because he'd be fired. This would be like Scott Bessent going on CNBC or Fox Business and saying, the one big beautiful bill was actually a stupid disaster and it didn't work at all. And we shouldn't have done it. And these tariffs are a mess. And yeah, everything we've been doing at this point was a bunch of crap. It would be like that.
Wow.
Okay. Here's what Morgenthau said. So the New Deal was supposed to be the savior of the nation, right? What saved the nation was World War II.
Yeah.
And the production for that. But here's what Morgenthau said in reference to all the New Deal programs. This is a direct quote. We have tried spending money. We are spending more than we have ever spent before, and it does not work.
Imagine that. Because you can't. Government spending is a problem, not the solution to the problem.
Because the more government spending you have, the less private sector spending you have. And this is what liberals, I think they understand, but they don't want to admit it. Not all liberals are stupid. Many of them are. Mazie Hirono, Hank Johnson, who thought Guam was going to tip over if you put too many people on it. Jerome, these people literally said these things. I didn't make up their stupidity. They did it all by themselves.
These people have impacts on our livelihoods.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And that's the kind of stuff that they're saying.
Controlling trillions of dollars.
Yes.
And they have access to things like, making decisions every once in a while on our national defense. They did pass the NDAA. I think that was a good thing. We'll find out as that is kind of developed. But all of these people say these things. And let me finish my history lesson. So, okay. So income tax, New Deal failure, the Great Society, LBJ's Great Society, the epic giant cherry flavored failure tab on top of it all, because it was also there was an element of racism in there. There was an element of keeping people where they are in life without letting them have upward mobility. The whole idea of the Great Society was we'll have government be the society for you, and in a very Orwellian way, we'll just take care of everything, and you can all sit in your little crappy little gray cubicles and like it.
Well, I guess that kind of makes sense now when I think about how many people that are my age that still live at home and their parents take care of all the bills. Why would they not sit there and say, well, this is great. Why don't we make all society like this? Now realizing that's a terrible society to live in.
Because it eventually fails.
Yes.
The socialism devolves into communism. The communism devolves into oppression and death. Hey, on that happy high note, it's 8:47 in the AM. When we come back, we'll have our final segment. We'll wrap up with everything you need to know we may have missed, and then we'll hand things off to the great Vic Porcelli. Vic and Ken at you at 9:05 here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
My son shall be Emmanuel.
This holiday season, help Feed My People fill the shelves. NewsTalk STL and the STL County GOP are partnering for an annual food drive, November 10th through December 21st. Drop off your non-perishable food donations at all Bartolino's restaurants, all Chris's Pancakes and dining locations, all 3 Michael's Flooring outlets, STL Windows and Doors, or at the NewsTalk STL studios.
Hey, it's Mike Ferguson, and together we can make a difference for families in need.
Visit NewsTalkSTL.com for complete drop-off locations.
If you're worried about losing your health insurance through Medicaid, we have great news for you. New government regulations have expanded the Affordable Care Act. And now you may qualify to get health insurance for you and your family through the Affordable Care Act. Call now to learn if you qualify. We know the healthcare regulations regarding Medicaid, and we've helped thousands of people find quality, affordable health insurance. Plus, all our research is free to you. So call us. With just one call, we'll shop from hundreds of different insurance companies to find you the right affordable health insurance plan. So if you're worried about losing your Medicaid insurance, call right now. Speak with a licensed agent and find how you may qualify for a new health insurance plan.
800-479-0931. 800-479-0931. 800-479-0931. That's 800-479-0931. Paid for by the Health Insurance Hotline.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Don't you wish there were more choices on where to buy your energy besides Ameren? Abby Foster of the Retail Energy Advancement League will break down what it takes to make that happen at 520.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
Welcome back to Mike Ferguson in the morning. Tim Jones in here with Jerome this morning. Smoozy Q is off riding away for redstate.com. Check out redstate.com throughout the day. 2 PSAs that I believe we referred to, maybe at least one of them, that I want to remind you of. The Canned Food Drive. Canned Food Drive continues, believe, through December 21st, Jerome?
Yes, sir.
December 21st.
And actually, it technically extended to the 22nd because St. Louis Doors and Windows is actually doing a pickup bus on the 22nd. If you want them to come out and grab some food that you can't deliver yourself.
Nice. You want details on that? NewsTalkSTL.com. There's tons of details. Don't have time to get into right now because we're a little jammed here near the end of the show. But all you got to do is go to NewsTalkSTL.com. All of the information, all the drop-off locations, all the new information about our wonderful sponsor and advertiser and supporter, STL Windows and Doors, about the fact that they are now our 11th or 12th drop-off spot. Or, as Jerome said, they're going to have a pick-up day. Well, they'll come to you. They'll be your own little Uber Eats in reverse. They're going to take the food from you, as they should, because you need to give it to those who need it. We're helping out Feed My People, a great local charity based right here in the county of St. Louis. They have reported to us a week or two ago that we have already collected over 600 pounds of food. Jerome, I'm going to predict we're well over twice that at this point because these barrels, this barrel we have at the station alone, this one barrel that we see every day has been overflowing again and again and again. And they keep coming and picking the food up and you all keep dropping up. Keep doing it. We can also take toys, new unwrapped toys. We can also take non-perishable toiletry items as well. Anything that people might need around the house or for themselves that they can't afford during the holiday season. Holiday season, I love it. I love the beauty, the warmth, and the family, but some people have a really tough, dark, rough time. Maybe they've lost a loved one. Maybe there's an empty seat at the table. Maybe they're going through a tough time with their family or with friends or with estrangement or something like that. Maybe they're down on their luck and they want to get back up on it and they just need a little helping hand through this holiday season, especially which is often tough in the heartland. Let's help them out indeed.
Yeah, and that's something that I hear a lot from the people of the left when it comes to us talking about wanting to cut things like, get people off of SNAP, get people off of some of these government programs. Like, well, you conservatives, you just don't have a heart. Well, I think we're proven wrong right now because this is entirely volunteer. This is entirely us of our own volition going and trying to make a difference in our community, and it is working fantastically. It's far exceeded so far how I thought it was going to perform.
Private charities also function so much better and deliver such a better bang for the buck than anything the government can ever hope to do. And so that's why we're doing this. and because we are good, compassionate conservatives. Also, while you're at newstalkstl.com, you can check out all the other awesome things we have, including something for you and your family, Conservative Christmas Stocking Stuffer Contest. Join that effort as well. Enter as many times as you want. There is a huge grand prize from one of my personal advertisers, Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com. They're giving away the $500 grand prize, but so many of our advertisers, I'm looking here, Havana 1961. Who else we got here? We've got, I should put my glasses on. Trolley Stop Bakery. We've got Whistle Pig. We got Gulf Shores. And there's so many more that are giving away tons of gift cards. So we're not only just going to have the grand prize winner, we're going to have probably dozens of other winners. So you could win too. Go to newstalkstl.com. Sign up today for the Conservative Christmas Stocking Stuffer Contest.
And hopefully you've been good and you're on that nice list. Otherwise, they're not going to let you enter, right?
Indeed. Hey, Jerome, could we possibly, do you have that other Sting song I sent you? I'd love to play a little bit of that because it's one of my favorites. Not really. It's called Soul Cake from If on a Winter's Night. I'll talk for a minute while you find it. Sting, I love Sting. And I just think he is one of the coolest dudes ever to walk the planet. I think he's a great person. I think he's a very theological person, philosophical person. I don't think he's a left-wing liberal loon. Boy, I hope not. He seems to be very understands this world, but I think he's also someone who understands the spiritual realm as well. And there's a lot of soul in his singing, a lot of spirituality. He did an album, not really a Christmas album, more of like a winter album. It's got some Christmas tunes on it. He did a reimagining of Gabriel's Message, and he did this song called Soul Cake, which really gets me, for whatever reason, in the mood for the season. It's a little bit of melancholy, which I think winter and Christmas often can be, but it also has a lot of hope and joy and warmth. I when I hear this song, Sting is one of those guys that can like project images into your brain. And I view myself sitting around a cozy living room, maybe in a cabin or in a big stone castle with a huge giant hearth fireplace with my loved ones around me, and we're having a big feast. Or maybe it's more like after dinner and we're kind of cozying back in the big armchairs. And that's what this reminds me of. Here's a little bit of piece of that for you here before we run out of time in the show.
These good misses a soul cake. 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, and 3 for him that made us song. Go down into the cellar and see what you can find. If the barrels are not empty, we'll hope that you'll be kind. We'll hope that you'll be kind with your apple and your pear. And we'll come no more a soul till Christmas time next year.
So a lot of this song has a lot of spiritual elements in it. And at the beginning of the song, a soul cake is like an old holiday kind of tradition that they would make back in olden times, especially in England, you know. And so what he says here in the first stanza, he says a soul cake, and he talks about kind of the different fruits that are in it. And then he says, 1 for Peter. Here's the spiritual reference: 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, 3 for him, capital H, 3 for him that made us all.
Wow.
God bless the master of this house and the mistress also, and all the little children that round your table grow, the cattle in your stable, the dogs at your front door, and all that dwell within your gates will wish you 10 times more. It's a song of plenty. It's a song of spirituality. It's a song of warmth and feeling, and I hope you have those feelings during this Christmas season.
That is absolutely beautiful. And I feel like we're really missing a lot of that from our music these days. You don't really get to see people openly, at least, making music like this because of the stigma that, Christians bad. We need to remove Christianity. But it's like, how much better of a society and how much warmer would our holidays be if we had more people making music like that?
Indeed. Are we out at 58:20?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we got a couple seconds left here. So yeah, how great is it, Jerome, that there are artists that still exist that can develop and sing lyrics like that have that. I don't know what Sting's religion is or lack thereof, but he obviously has he has a deep sense of spirituality within his core.
Absolutely. And like I said, when those trumpets came in and you started hearing a little bit of fiddling,
Mhm.
I when you were talking about feeling like you're in the woods and a
Yes.
nice warm I absolutely felt that.
The cover of the album, he's walking in the woods with a wolf by his side because, of course, Sting's the only cool guy on the planet that can do that. Hey, we got another couple cool guys coming up. Vic and Ken, the Vic Porcelli Show coming at you from 9 to noon. I'll be back this afternoon with Chris Harps from 4 to 6 p.m. 1019 941 News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Mark